In Atlanta, Georgia.
Never been defeated in contact competition.
Getting back in the ring with Bill Wallace this time is truly going to be a pleasure.
That's what it's all about right there.
From Washington, D.C., Carmichael Simon. The champion, Ernest Miller.
He's 10 years old and is a karate champion.
Fight.
I always told myself I could win. I always believed I could win.
Christine Bannon Rodriguez.
Put your hands together for Caitlin Michelle.
He is performing in his 20th and final battle. Culmination.
Welcome to the Battle of Atlanta.
It's going to be explosive, it's going to be exciting, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen tonight.
Welcome to the Battle of Atlanta. I am super excited to have all of you here. To officially welcome every single one of you, I want you guys to all stand for Mr. Toby and Greg Ruth.
Thanks, Reid. You can have a seat. First, I always want to thank all of our competitors and the families for coming to the Battle of Atlanta of 2023. Could not have the Battle of Atlanta without all of our competitors and their parents and families that came to support us. So let's give all of them a huge round of applause for coming out this weekend. I do have some thank yous before we get kicking, so I got to go through it quickly. I want to thank all of our sponsors, our Friday Night Fight sponsor, Fighters Inc., our Battle Zone Night Show sponsor tonight, presented by Century Martial Arts, Premier Martial Arts, G-Force Weapons, and Cobb Sports Alliance. I also want to thank our partners in Rise USA, Matt Action, and Doris Brothers Trophies. I want to take a quick second to thank all the NASKA promoters who are here in attendance. We couldn't do this event also without their support. They've been really integral this year. I want to thank our production crews, CTR Studios, Dustin Adams, Mahoney Media, and ELS Nashville, and all of our broadcast talent. Most important, I want to thank these next few people because we couldn't run Battle of Atlanta without them. I want to thank all of our judges, scorekeepers. If you judged this weekend, stand up. Let everybody give you a round of applause. If you were a scorekeeper, stand up. These guys make tournaments run. They're the difference in success and no success in the tournaments. We thank you from the deepest parts of our hearts. I want to thank our registration staff, led by my wife, Krista, who's out there working right now. Thanks, Krista, and her team. Carrie Garrett, Brandy Osborne, Leslie Ruff, and Nicole Haymore. I want to thank our volunteer check-in people, Chrissy Boyer, Lolita Mingo. 2 cards. I also want to thank our coordinators and ring managers. These guys have worked their behinds off this entire weekend. They have really worked so hard. I can't thank these guys enough. These guys are amazing. Marilyn Edwards, Barry Jones, Kevin Hammond, Jason Warren, and Holly Haggard. I also want to thank our behind-the-scenes crew, Rachel Brazina, Andrew Pate, Mariah Pate, Dawson Colton, and Eli Ruth. I want to thank Randy McCauley and the Ader boys, Rafe and Riker. I also want to thank Jody Jordan for scorekeeping all weekend, Jim Haymore. I want to thank my dad for taking the initiative to put this tournament together. And most importantly, I want to thank Joe Corley, who I'm not sure is here right now, but without Joe Corley, we wouldn't have Battle of Atlanta. And the last thing, I got 2 guys who don't get nowhere near the credit, but I think they run NASKA secretly. I want to thank Eric Rudolph and Reid Presley because they pulled off a lot of magic this weekend that I was not sure we were going to do, but they did it, so I'm super thankful for those guys. All right? Thank you, guys. Have a great show.
All right, let's go ahead and get this started. Before we start going into our divisions and before we do the national anthem, I first want to introduce everybody you guys are gonna be hearing from tonight, whether you guys are in person or you guys are online. And that first person is going to be doing all of the interviews. So let's give it up for Miss Anna Glenn. And then on the broadcast side of things, you have Mr. Mallory Woods. And you have Mr. Jackson Rudolph. Then I am your host for the second year in the row, Reid Presley. I'm kind of more so known for doing some double bow stabs, but I wanted to get up here and help keep the sport going and keep you guys energized and ready to enjoy the night. Now, I do have one thing for you guys. If you guys like what you see, you have to let the competitors know that you like it. The more energy that you give them, the more energy they're gonna give you. So let's try this real fast. 1, 2, 3. Are you guys ready? No. Are you guys ready? All right, so now everybody please stand because we're gonna have Miss Angela Winter come to the stage for the national anthem. She did such an amazing job last night, and she has quite the extensive background. She is a songwriter and a choir director coming from Nashville, Tennessee. She also has written songs that you can find that have been televised on a radio show, The Burt Show, and then you can also find all of her music basically anywhere that you're listening, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you guys like, under Angela Parchetta. And here you go.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's give it up for her one last time. All right. You guys ready to battle? Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and go into our first division, and it is going to be the 18 and over NASKA Black Belt Women Point Sparring Overalls. Let's go ahead and make some noise for these ladies. The first competitor that's going to be coming to the stage is Miss Karina Balan with Team Straight Up. And the next fighter that's going to be coming to the stage is Katarina Herman with Team Paul Mitchell. And you guys are in for a treat because centering this match is none other than Regina Thompson. Got you that time. Checking the gear, doing a gear check. We're gonna have 2 minutes on the clock. Fighters are getting ready.
Overall Grand Championship. Katarina Herman on the left, Karina Milan in the blue helmet circling. I'm Jackson Rudolph, joined by Mallory
Pick
Woods
your
and
favorite
Josh
fighter.
Duford calling the action here tonight.
You know, just to get back in here, Jackson, it's interesting because I saw Katarina right before we began, and she actually lost in the women's open weight yesterday. She said she took time to talk to her coach, Damon Gilbert, fix what's broken, and she says she intends to dominate this fight tonight.
And Mallory, this is a game of survive and advance. Doesn't matter if you lose a division, you lose the open weight, you come back, you make the adjustments exactly like you were saying, and that is what Katarina looks to do right here. You're gonna see her lead with that leg a lot as she scores the 2-point side kick to the body. That is her primary weapon of attack.
Exactly, and Josh, we were talking about this during the Friday night fight section we had on last night, and it's again a battle between tall and short. And I mean, she's got a heck of a task in front of her, those long legs that Katarina Herman brings. And it's one of the things as a shorter fighter, you want to dance around, you want to make them miss, and you want to counterattack.
That's right, that's right. And I tell you, just love hearing Jackson talk about Katarina's mindset and adjustment. You know, great athletes, that's what they do. They go back to the drawing board, they make adjustments, and they prepare for battle, pun intended there. But it definitely looks like she's off to a great start tonight, and she's mentally ready to go.
As Katarina builds herself a 4-0 lead. For those of you who are new to watching point fighting, for every point fighting event this evening, every punching technique, if a fighter scores with their hands, it will be 1 point. If they score with a kicking technique, scoring with the foot, it will be 2 points.
There's also no ground fighting, you can't run out of bounds. The judges are really on point in terms of if you step out of bounds and intentionally run away, it's an automatic point awarded to your opponent. Yeah. They've been very strict on that this weekend.
They have. We saw that a lot last night, Mallory, and I tell you, it's a big stage up there, and of course the whole stage is not the ring. You know, it's definitely a good chance you'll see somebody get out of that ring area tonight and lose some points.
As the first round comes to a close, we have a 4-1 lead for Katarina Herman, the favorite coming into this fight.
So this is a 2-round contest right now. We actually see Bill Murphy on stage. We'll see later on. He's going to be a very busy later on this night, and his coaching teammate David Gilbert on the other end, giving Katarina, knowledge and everything and plans to help defend that lead.
And if you look at the sign language of Damon Gilbert, you see him using his hands to show distance for Katarina Herman, because that's what her game is going to be dependent on. She can keep Karina away with her leg. If she's able to do that in the second round, she can maintain this lead.
You're absolutely right. Well, it looks like Bailey was going on about, you've got to get in there and you've got to take advantage of every opportunity that she gives you. Sometimes you have to create those opportunities, and sometimes they happen organically.
All right, they hear me. You can't hear me.
4-1 is our score right now at the beginning of round 2. We're getting our center judges set back up again, and we will begin momentarily.
The judges for this evening on the point fighting side, Regina Thompson in the center, and the corner judges Jarrett Leiker and Jason Warren. Katarina looking very loose, getting ready for the second round. It appears that we're having a scorekeeper delay. There's typically only 1 minute in between the rounds. Looks like there's a scorekeeping malfunction. First event of the evening. The computer's got to get warmed up, no problem.
Yeah, sometimes those things, all of the events really just happen right before here, so you don't even know who's fighting until all that's decided. So sometimes you got to get the little bugs out and everything. It looks like we're ready to go.
Herman right away getting the leg up and active. Lateral movement for Karina is going to be huge to try to get around that leg.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, and she gets inside just like Bailey was trying to coach her up a while ago.
And there's the lateral movement right off the line. You see that sidestep trying to throw Katie off that kicking game.
She's got to really take good angles here, but watch the out of bounds and make sure she doesn't step out and give up a point. And of course, at the whole time while you're worried about that leg, she's got hands too.
But it was Karina Milan who scored there on the counter striking.
Oh, didn't see it. I would have guessed that the point would have gone the other way, but you're absolutely right on that.
Milan circling, Herman attacking with the kicks.
Another counter. Now we're tied up. It's 0-0.
Ties up.
Here we go.
A couple of really close exchanges there as Karina starts this comeback. Herman answers. She's up 1.
So the score is 5-4. Herman. You notice anytime Karina moves forward, you see Katarina bring that leg up. So one of the things that she could do is she could check it. She could actually touch that leg, cut an angle, maybe throw a ridge hand, throw a quick back fist. It depends on what you want to do for your plan of attack. Looked like there was an equipment malfunction. The judge resets those fighters back to center stage.
45 seconds remaining.
What's interesting is it seemed that Regina Thompson may have given a penalty point for that, but that was Katarina Herman's first equipment malfunction.
Correct.
You're supposed to have one warning for the first equipment malfunction, and the second one's a penalty point. So that was an interesting decision made there by the center referee.
That's true. You know what? I think that if it was a penalty point undeserved, by Katarina, then David Gilbert would have been right on that.
It looks like it's going to come down to the wire here with about 15 seconds to go.
1 point advantage for Milan. Herman reverse punch. Milan scores on the offense.
It's only 6 seconds to go. I don't know if she's got to get a kick.
There it is.
Herman, that was
there it is. Ties it up as time expires.
That is the sport karate equivalent of a buzzer beater. Herman with the hook kick. We will have sudden victory.
Here we go.
Sudden victory. First person to score is going to win. All 3 judges, or at least you have to have 3 judges that agree in order to award a point. There's a body punch, and it goes the opposite way.
Milan on the attack. Herman tries to get the defensive side kick up in time. It's a close call, but Karina Milan completes the comeback in a thrilling first event of the evening to bring the overall Grand Championship home for Team Straight Up.
Wow, what a comeback. And also, when you get scored on in that last second, and you don't want to hang your head. You want to be ready for that sudden victory, and she was. That's a perfect way to take advantage of that, not get down in the moment, even though you just got scored on.
And you got to love the 2-round fights here. Being able to, after that first round, to just go off to the side, talk to your coach, make the adjustments, and then come back out there and implement a whole new game plan. You got to love that adjustment that was made there by Balan.
And after that thrilling first event, we're going to take a moment and hear a word from our sponsors.
Just get the mic a little closer to your mouth.
There we go. Let's give it up to her one more time. One more time. All right, we are moving right along. So we started off with the bangless and fighting, and now we're going to go into some weapons competition. So we're going to be moving into the 13 under NASKA overall Grand Championship, and the competitor number 1 is be none other than Olivia Cano with Competitive Edge.
And instead of a word from our sponsors, that was a word from Reid Presley. But now we're back to the action. We've got Olivia Cano representing Team Competitive Edge from the great state of Texas. She is the first competitor for our 13 and under NASKA overall weapons grand championship for the girls.
Now, if you've never seen this before, I think, Jackson, you know a little bit about this weapon. Maybe you can clue us in as to what we're going to be seeing.
I might be familiar with the bow. So in a performance like this, whenever we say CMX, we're referring to creative, musical, and extreme, the 3 disciplines that competitors compete in, to wear a black uniform, use a shiny weapon like this bow, and you're going to see a combination of tricks like that opening release with the solid foundational martial arts striking. And that's one thing I love about Olivia in particular is you watch, she's hitting clean stances, she's extending her strikes fully, and she's mixing in these very high level of difficulty tricks, especially considering her age. And in this format of competition, you're going to see the CMX, like I said, the creative musical extreme, pitted against a traditional competitor to see who's going to come out on top for the overall grand championship. Little Jake Presley inspiration on the palm spin behind the back to the splits for Olivia.
Looked outstanding right there on that, Jackson.
And then throws the chop punch while her bow is in the air, mixing in the martial arts techniques with the tricks. Olivia coming off an overall Grand Championship win at the Compete Internationals earlier this season. She lands her closing move, and she is looking for another overall Grand Championship.
Definitely a solid
here at the Battle of
performance there
Atlanta.
right there. Definitely a solid performance, set the tone.
Now, one of the things that's different, of course, about kata and weapon competitions is that you get to decide who's going to go first, etc. like that. In fighting, both of you all come out. Now, your top competitor usually has the option to go last. But what I wanted to ask you, Jackson, is if you were given the choice, would you decide to always go last, or would you want to go out first and set the tone?
Well, I think it depends on your opponent, right? There are certain opponents that, you travel the circuit, the North American Sport Karate Association over the years. You get to know your competitors. You get to understand which competitors don't handle pressure as well. You get to understand which competitors are not impacted by any pressure you may present. And so if it's somebody that I know is going to be unbothered by anything I do, you want to go last. But if it's somebody that I think there's a little bit of weakness, and if you can get in their head and start playing those mind games, sometimes it is better to get out there first and make them hit a form as good as yours. Now on stage, we have Adeline Lau with her double sword form, trained by Shaheen Jahanvash, one of the most well-known stylists for this traditional double sword routine.
Their family also puts on a great tournament in California.
And speaking of the Compete Internationals, not only did Olivia win that overall Grand Championship, this is actually a rematch of that overall Grand Championship. Adeline Lau was her opponent. Adeline looking for redemption. Olivia looking to continue her winning ways. So far, very clean for Adeline Lau.
The one thing also that's interesting about these competitors that you see up here, they're going to be stuck with each other for quite a while. If you're competing against someone, it's not like they're going to age out. You guys are pretty much married to you both grown adults and pretty much spend your entire karate career together. So if you see someone tonight and maybe you lose to them, you're going to see them again.
And one of the things that's interesting about the traditional weapons category for the North American Sport Karate Association is that it's not traditional as many traditional martial artists may define it. The way that these rules operate is that competitors can do any arrangement of traditional techniques. So they can actually choreograph their own forms. So a lot of this that you're seeing may have been choreographed by Adeline herself, her parents, her coaches, all contributing to this performance. But what makes it traditional is that the movements are all going to be traditional, the techniques themselves. Now in the traditional forms category, that will be different. You see much less creative liberty being taken with the traditional kata, the traditional pumse that you'll see tonight to give representation to both the Japanese and the Korean language.
Adeline looking very, very clean and strong tonight.
And oftentimes this first forms and weapons division with a showdown between the extreme and the traditional, it might give you an idea of the way that our judging panel looks tonight. There are some panels that tend to lean a little bit more extreme. There are some panels that tend to lean a little bit more traditional. And to their credit, there are some that go right down the middle. And in my opinion, the way that I've always thought about it is that you have to consider, out of all of the extreme forms that I've seen, how does that one rank? And out of all the traditional forms that I've seen, how does that one rank? So you're not directly comparing the apples and oranges, but relative to the average for each of those disciplines, which one is more above average? And that's what the judges have to determine here.
Yes, yes, and that's a great perspective because it is very difficult to compare traditional versus CMX because they're so unique in their own way. And it looks like they're going to actually score those two competitors after the boys run their division as well. So we'll wait to see.
Yeah, we'll unique feature for the Battle of Atlanta. In the interest of efficiency, they will actually run the girls division and then run the boys division, and then all the competitors will go up for scoring at once. The girls competing for one title, the boys competing for a separate title. So now we have the 1300 Boys Weapons Overall Grand Championship. An absolute showstopper on stage, Michael Molina of Team Competitive Edge.
You better buckle up for sure.
Oh, exactly. This young man is a future superstar. I got a chance to talk to him and his family. You know, the way his sister trains, it is truly a family operation. I even found out how to get gum out of V-pants thanks to his mom.
Yes, and I will have to plug this in there as well, shameless plug. This is my 5-year-old son Cash's hero right here. So,
Michael rocking the headband and rocking the opening strike combo into the tricks. Double spin with the punch before the catch.
This young man wants to get involved in the entertainment business, says his dream role is to play Spider-Man.
Tom Holland, where you at? Oh, and he just misses the catch. Got a little ahead of himself. He was ready to transition into the next technique, took his eyes off his weapon and suffered a drop.
but
now
you got to love it. He just picks it right up, and he's going to finish strong. He's going to still put on a show for us.
And in the final, something important to remember for the fans watching at home. Competitors don't get automatically disqualified as he pulls off a 3.5 spin catch to compensate. So he will not get disqualified for a drop as in normal elimination divisions, but there is a significant score reduction. So he is effectively out of the running, but still putting on a show.
Oh!
A crowd-pleasing triple spin and a smile to show that sportsmanship that even when it doesn't go your way, he's still up there having a great time.
Both of his divisions, the CMX weapons runoff and the traditional weapons runoff. So let's give it up for him one more time.
Do you guys remember what I said about how he won't be disqualified? There'll just be a score reduction? Well, he won both of the divisional grand championships to qualify for this final. So it didn't matter if he hit his form or not. He is already qualified for the overall grand championship. He knocked out all the rest of his competition, so he wins anyway.
You know, he's really got to take the pressure off himself because he's just up there having fun at this point.
That's
he's
right.
Won both divisions.
So now we'll wait on the girls' scoring to see who's going to be our overall champion for tonight.
Man, Michael just raised my blood pressure for no reason.
While we're waiting for the scores, right to the right of our broadcast booth is Dad, proud member of the military services. Always on the job this weekend. He's recording his son. We can see him right from where we're sitting. It's always great to see a family, a military family that travels together. You know,
absolutely.
Supporting their children. You know, doing everything for them.
And I tell you what, as a dad myself of competitors, to see Mr. Andy in their corner, he is their biggest fan. He is their biggest cheerleader, and man, as a dad, that's what I want to be for my kids.
100% right.
And for the results, we have our winner by unanimous decision, 9.99s across the board for Adeline Lau. In a division with two competitors that were that clean, that looked that good, it's a little unusual to see the judges
that's right.
be in such agreement, right? A lot of times you'll see a 5-2 split, a 4-3 split amongst the judges. Maybe we are looking at a little bit more of a traditional panel tonight. We'll have to watch some more divisions to see. But either way, Adeline Lau was fantastic, and she deserves the win. It's just interesting to see that there wasn't more disagreement between the judges there. And then Michael flexing the trophy before coming off stage.
Of course.
You gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Jake Wildcard Presley in that commercial. He's a little broken right now. Just a broken leg, just a tiny little broken leg. All right, we're gonna move it right along into the 14-17 overall grand champion black belt girls forms. And once again, we will look at both of these divisions before we go into scoring. And coming to the stage is gonna be our first competitor, Sofia Rodriguez Flores.
the ability to make an audience feel her performance through the choreography with the music. It's almost meditative.
It is. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest with you, watching her earlier this afternoon during runoffs, it was literally like watching a movie. I mean, really, it's like taking me on a Disney cruise in a sense of just, you know, very beautiful, very graceful, yet powerful.
If I'm not mistaken, this looks like Kishimoto, one of her ace katas. Growing in popularity in the sport.
That's one thing actually to say about your traditional katas versus your modern, something that you could be more creative because you are making the kata up. When you have a traditional kata, you have a frame of reference over and over again, and someone that's teaching it to you, you know what every movement is supposed to be like, and the total focus and concentration for hand position, where your fingers are supposed to be. It's everything down to the last detail, and she shows the perfection of this kata. As you mentioned, she's really made it her own.
Trains with some of the best as well. Not only a member of Team Infinity, a very well-respected team, but she also trains in the Kinseikon Dojo in Miami, the dojo of Ariel Torres, Olympic bronze medalist. Under the tutelage of Sensei Robert Young. Jumps like we just saw Sophia execute were so critical in a matchup with an extreme competitor, because as the traditionalist, the judges are looking for any tiny mistake. They're kind of granting the level of difficulty to the extreme competitor. So as the traditionalist, if you have a small bobble, a little foot reset, it can be the reason that you lose the Grand Championship. But no mistakes for Sophia.
Give it up for Sophia!
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful performance.
Excellent precision, amazing timing. Let's give it up for her one last time.
And now Reid Presley will introduce his sister to the stage.
Coming to the stage is going to be Miss Reid Presley with Team culmination.
Avery has been statistically dominant in this category in recent memory. She became the first female in a long, long time to win a Warrior Cup. Earlier this year in January at the AKA Warrior Cup, one of the other prestigious tournaments in sport karate. What's interesting is we got that close-up of Avery's facial expression. She's always a calm, cool, and collected competitor, but you don't always see quite the level of intensity that is in her eyes tonight. This is different. She wants this one more than others, it seems. Beautiful 540 right into the knee spin, axe aerial. Right back into the fully extended hand combinations, making Coach Marcel Jones proud. Audubon, cartwheel, full twist to the knee. Another clean landing. Nice flash kick to the corner, signifying this is going to be the closing moments of the form. And a strong performance.
Nice performance there for sure.
Another tough decision by the judges.
I was just going to say one thing's for sure. I would not want to be in the judge's chair
Same
right
here.
now.
CMX extreme form, speed, power, and intensity is the emphasis of CMX form. Moving on to the next division is going to be the.
So we're going to do the same thing like we did before. We're going to have the ladies come up, and we're going to have the boys come up, and then we're going to score them both, or all four at the end.
Coming to the stage is going to be Matthew Grisia.
And in yet another battle of the traditional versus the extreme. First competitor to the stage, Matthew Grusha, wearing the all-white uniform. Of course, will be representing the traditionalists out there. He is pitted against Colin O'Brien, the extreme representative of Team AKA. And as we just heard, he'll be performing the kata Anandai. A member of top 10 Team USA, undoubtedly some heavy influence from the likes of Jarrett Liker, Mason Stowell.
Both heavy hitters.
Both with very strong Anandai.
Really good to have your coaches that they'll have an expert in that kata that you're going to perform. You can always reach out for help.
Look at the hand speed. I mean, that is incredible. And that's one of the things you got to love most about traditional Japanese kata in particular. It's just the explosiveness that these athletes are capable of.
Seamless transition from one move to the next, but like you mentioned, the explosive power, and then freezing, you see the power of the strike. It's really bringing this kata to life.
Yeah, with the intensity he's putting in, you can almost feel it.
I was always told, make them see your opponent. Make the kata viewable.
That's good.
Make the performance viewable to those watching.
And another thing that's so impressive is the balance between the explosiveness and the patience. The way that he paces this kata and allows us to have those moments of still, those moments of quiet, it really captivates an audience and draws you into the kata.
Yeah, you can tell even with the crowd noise just almost being dead silent here. You know, it's been amped up pretty much the whole night so far, but definitely a quiet crowd that just seems to be drawn in the moment.
For those watching that may be new to sport karate, it's kind of like you're able to watch a golf tournament and a monster truck rally.
That's good.
All at the same time.
That's good.
Both entertaining, just very different in the way that they do it.
Great, great, great perspective there.
And a beautiful Anandai by Matthew Grusha.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a tall task for Colin O'Brien to top that. However, he's overcome the odds this weekend, making it through a deep 14-17 division.
That's right.
And his extreme form is going to try to pull off an upset here against Matthew Grusha, a multiple-time career overall Grand Championship winner.
And coming to the stage, competitor number 2 is going to be Colin O'Brien.
And one thing I love about Colin O'Brien of Team AKA as he takes the stage is this is a kid that does everything. He competes in forms, weapons, fighting. A well-rounded martial artist. We talk about explosiveness in the traditional performances. This is going to be a whole different kind of explosiveness. You see him building the suspense for the form here, and watch the speed when he takes off. Full speed ahead, fast hand combinations, a trademark of Team AKA members, right into the tricking. And it looks like Colin is actually representing the creative division, meaning that he is not allowed to invert his body or do more than a 360-degree rotation in the air because of the qualifier that he won. It's very rare to see a competitor make it all the way to the finals coming out of that division, strictly because of some of the limitations that are inherent to creative forms. which makes it all that much more impressive that he's got himself in this position and just landed an incredible form to potentially give Matthew Boucher a run for his money.
That's right, and I tell you, with that performance, I tell you, you can definitely see how he got to where he is tonight. That was an outstanding and solid performance tonight. So now he'll have all 4 competitors coming to the stage tonight to receive their scores.
First up for scoring is going to be Sophia.
So keep in mind, watching at home, the scores for the ladies and for the gentlemen are separate. Ladies competing for a title, the gentlemen competing for a separate title. Scores are out for Sofia Rodriguez Flores. It was only up there for a moment, but I believe I saw 4 9.99s.
I believe it was 4 9s.
Let's double check when we see Avery's scores.
They're also double checking with the judges up front.
And the winner
This is a close one.
And it looks like Pia pulls it out.
Rodriguez Flores by 1/100th of a point, it seems. If it was a 4-3 split, that is the margin of victory, as close as it gets in the sport.
Now we're to the gentleman.
And competitor number 2, Colin.
Another close one, it looks like, for the gentlemen. We may have another 4-3 split. It looks like it may go in favor of Grusha.
And the winner is Matthew Grusha.
And so in both of the 14-17 forms overall Grand Championships, the traditionalists edge out the CMX competitors by 1/100th of a point each. Sofia Rodriguez Flores and Matthew Grusha taking titles home.
And I tell you what, not to take anything away from any of those other 2 competitors, that was 4 solid performances there tonight out of all 4 of those athletes.
Manny Reyes, promoter of the Pan American Internationals, coming up near the end of the North American Sport Karate Association season.
In beautiful Miami, Florida. As you get to the end of the year, it's always great to go to Miami.
Very nice, very nice.
You don't have to give me many excuses to come to a karate
That's
tournament
right.
now.
Traditional style martial arts and the CMX style martial arts. So now we're going to be going into an adult division, which is going to be 18 and over. Overall Grand Championship Black Belt Women Weapons.
Competitor number 1 is going to be Caitlin McMillan. Let's give it up for Caitlin.
Okay. It's always great to hear the junior competitors when they go off and go to school, as they start to pursue their careers, starting in college and everything. It's always great to hear, because these young men and women are going to be your scholars for tomorrow.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And Josh, one of the things I love about this job, being a commentator, going to a lot of these high-level sport karate events, is I get to watch some of these top athletes evolve over time, and I love to give credit where credit is due. In previous versions of Katie McMillan's form, I've said on broadcast before that she used to have a bad habit of her hands getting a little bit too close together on her bow striking. As I'm watching her go through these strike combos now, I see marked improvement in that.
Yes,
and anytime
absolutely.
that you can see a competitor make progress, you got to give that some love.
And I'll tell you, it comes from her discipline and hard work from day after day of just working through that and taking advice from, our coaches and people like herself that have shared that as well. And she just takes it and just makes improvements and just puts forward the discipline and the hard work. As you can see, it's paying off for her.
I think it's also one thing to mention that if you start to hear that, hey, you could do this a little bit better, to be humble enough to accept, the very positive criticism or positive, reinforcement to tell you that we want to make you a better athlete, we want to make you a better competitor. So you have to open your mind up to that and accept it and say, I want to be a little bit better in this area.
When we talk about the areas in which she's improved, one thing that has been a constant over the course of her career is that intensity as you see at the
Absolutely
end of the
killed
floor.
it.
That is what drives her performance, and she brought it tonight.
She sure did.
Coming to the next is going to be Haley Glass with Team Paul Mitchell.
Rocking the fight uniform too, man.
I love it.
Oh.
Haley, bulletproof glass, taking the stage for Team Paul Mitchell. And there is nothing that I loved more when I was a competitor than taking off the heavyweight uniform and putting on one of these pajama-like fighting gis. I loved it.
That's
So
right.
I love the fact that Haley is coming out here and showing the fighting uniform some love, courtesy of our sponsor, Century Martial Arts, of course.
You can just see it in her eyes. She's sure locked in tonight.
Haley Glass earlier today was talking about some ring rust that she was feeling after having been performing for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines for the last several months. This is her first tournament back in action in 4 or 5 events. It'll be interesting to see if we can appreciate any ring rust tonight or if she looks like her old self.
It's a tough job to be out on a cruise ship going to island destinations and performing every night. She told me she really enjoyed the Isle of St. Thomas working out here for Royal Caribbean. I've seen some pictures and videos of the show and it looks absolutely amazing.
And Haley Glass with some
I don't believe you guys. Who in here loves sport karate? All right, so we are all in this together, and we are trying to grow this sport. We want as many people to love what we all do, whether it is forms, weapons, or fighting. Something that helps us out immensely is when we do these live streams, when we do these shows, you guys all are able to like, share, subscribe, and share all of the content so that all of your friends, family, and everyone that cares about what you do will engage as well. The larger the audience, the larger the impact, and the more lives we can change through martial arts. So for this show, you guys can all go to the Battle of Atlanta YouTube page, like, share, and make sure you get that broadcast out to as many of your platforms as possible. So right now, as we are getting ready to keep the show moving on, if you guys could take out your phones and do just that. They gotta do it quick because we are ready to move on to the next division. All right, now we're going to be moving into the 14 to 17 NASKA overall Grand Championship black belt girls weapons.
We should be good to go now. I am receiving texts from our audience members saying
Rodriguez,
have been resolved, and now you can hear us talk about some more karate.
That's right. That's right.
And thanks to the people out there for having our back. You know, it's hard to do the show. Those of you that have sent text in, we definitely got on that. And they look like they have the problem corrected now, just in time for 18 over. Let's see, we got overall championship for CMX Forms. Nope, I'm on the wrong division.
Before we get to that CMX Forms overall Grand Championship, on stage now we have the 14 to 17 Girls Weapons overall Grand Championship, a rematch of what we saw earlier. Sofia Rodriguez Flores in her traditional against Avery Presley in her extreme. And one thing that Sofia does, almost unlike anybody else in the sport, is she brings the same beauty and grace that she runs her traditional kata with to her traditional weapons performance. Oftentimes you see a significant stylistic difference, but with Sofia you see a lot of carryover between the two divisions.
Yes, yes, and as Mallory and I talked about last night, because we had her on Friday Night Fight, she's such a well-rounded athlete that just does everything. You know, forms, weapons, fighting, she does it all.
I really can't tell you how challenging that is to have, you know, be able to do weapons, forms, and sparring, and do them all well.
Especially at a tournament at this level.
Yes, definitely so.
And that's a great example of that beauty and grace that she brings to the traditional bow form as well. We see the explosive strike combinations, but the balance to pivot around. That is those elements from her traditional kata flowing over into the bow form, a really beautiful meshing of all of her talents.
Give it up for Sofia!
And another solid performance from Sofia Rodriguez Flores.
Outstanding performance.
She sets the bar high for Avery Presley.
And coming to the stage to keep this division going is going to be Miss Avery Presley with Team Paul Mitchell.
Earlier this evening, the forms division was won by Sofia Rodriguez Flores in a 4-3 split. Avery looking to swing the tide in her favor this time around.
I mean, it's not often that you get to go up against the same competitor in a different division in the same night. But yes, you'd be looking to get one back in this case.
And it's a testament to how well-rounded both of these girls are to be able to make it all the way in both forms and weapons. Great speed from Avery Presley out of the gate. Vertical zero gravity release into the 540, signature knee spin. So far, so good. Oh, she misses the 360 box cutter. It looked like that may have gotten lost in the lights.
Yeah,
I
thought that too.
She just missed it.
Yep. And by her reaction, it seemed that way.
It's always a weird feeling as the athlete in that situation because, you know, you feel like it's your fault. You feel like, God, you know, I wish I could have made the adjustment.
That's
but at
right.
the same time, if light gets in your eye, you can't help it.
And it's not like you get out there and get to practice under the lights before this performance either.
That depends on how early you show up to the arena.
That's true. Sounds like you might have a little experience there. What you think, Mallory?
Oh, for me, it was always an hour before the show even thought about starting.
I love it.
I was coming down here making sure that I could see the lighting.
Yes, sir.
And that's something that for all these competitors, if they go back and they watch this stream, make sure you do that. Make sure you give yourself that opportunity to acclimate to those stage lights. But now on stage, as we shift to the boys, a separate division now, the 14-17 overall weapons grand championship, Nolan Grunwald, Team Infinity.
I got to see his performance in runoffs earlier, and it was super solid and super strong.
Nolan's got a great combination of speed and intensity. Had some success on the Pro Mac Tour recently, working on making some more stage appearances on the NASKA circuit. This is a big one here at the Battle of Atlanta. Smart to wipe the hands off real quick, make sure they're not too sweaty before he starts going full speed.
And he comes right out of the gate, super fast, super strong.
I tell you what, I've watched Nolan do this form a bunch of times. This may be the best he has ever looked thus far. Very clean, very explosive. Beautiful 360 jump to the stab. This is one of those performances where you can just tell that everything is coming together for him. Not surprising that he was able to make it this far in the competition. And Nolan Grunwald with a very intense bow form.
What a performance right there. One of the best I've seen out of him too, Jackson.
And the next competitor coming to the stage is going to be Mr. Philip Brunet, representing Team Competitive.
And I know you're familiar with his opponent, Mr. Philip Brumet, and I have to add, I saw his performance during runoffs earlier, and all I have to say is wow.
Absolutely. Philip is one of those competitors that is so skilled. He's so talented. Sometimes you just got to sit back and shake your head at some of the things that this guy is able to do.
Totally agree.
What?
If he brings it like he did in runoffs, he's definitely going to be hard to beat.
B-twist, swing cork, clean. A very difficult comma form ahead. If he hits it, he'll be hard to beat. Here we go. Fast Rudy Raynon inspired cut combination at the beginning. For comma competitors, it's always that first finger roll combination. He lands it into the tricking. Beautiful extension on the kicks. Huge double cork right up off of the landing on the knee. Another release combo. One-handed juggle of the commas into the trap catch. Little Austin Crane inspiration on the hand roll. Double box cutters. Webster half twist. One of the best pop front kicks in the game, and it's not every competitor you can say that about. That's truly great execution of that standard technique. 360, double leg full.
Big finish here at the end.
That'll do it, and Philip Brunet setting Atlanta on fire with that comma form.
On fire.
You know, one of the things that I have noticed over the past couple of years is that a lot of the double releases at the same time have started to make their way into performances. That level of difficulty is just being notched up a little bit more each time.
Well, that's one of the things that I train. If I've got a nunchuck student or a kama student like Philip, that's one of the things that I train them up on, is that, you know, I was a bow guy. As a bow guy, I can only let go of one weapon at a time because I'm only going to do one bow.
I dig it.
And so if you're trying to match up with bow competitors and you're holding kamas, throw them both at the same time. That is the advantage that you have, is that you have the ability to do that. You
Absolutely.
can literally do something that's not possible for your opponent. But I'll get off my soapbox as we shift over to the scoring. Sofia Rodriguez Flores coming out on top once again as the traditionalist in that 14 to 17 category for the girls. As for the boys, 9.98s across the board, meaning that it is going to be a unanimous decision win for Philip Bourmet, who gets the crowd into it.
He's hyped up and ready.
Very well done.
Two fantastic teenage divisions right there, Mallory.
The future is bright. I mean,
that's one of the great storylines about Philip. He's moving up to the adult division next year.
Yes.
That's one thing that the quote graduation of juniors to adults. Once you got in the adult division, you kind of look forward to, like, okay, who's coming up next year? You know, who is it? How do we prepare for them? What are we going to do when they get here?
Presenting the award, Holly Hager, one of the promoters of the Cowboy Up Martial Arts Championships.
And I tell you, such a great supporter of sport karate in general. I mean, you see her at almost every single event, her and her husband, and man, they just do such a tremendous job of just bringing back value to, you know, other tournaments and events, and the competitors. They both serve as a judge faithfully and just do a tremendous job for the sport.
And I love a little bit of old school there from Philip Bourmet, going up, shaking each of the
that was
judges'
class
hands.
right there. That was class.
That's some pre-COVID sportsmanship.
Yes, that's it. There you go. There you go.
Musical and extreme forms. First up, you're gonna have none other than Benjamin Jones representing Team Paul Mitchell.
Guys who are in it right now, we've got a showdown between teammates, a battle between Synch partners. Ben, the Truth Jones, against Esteban Air Canada Tremblay. Ben representing the creative division. No techniques over 360 degrees rotation, no inversions. He's going to try to win this with his foundational martial arts techniques. There's plenty of creativity mixed in.
And I'm just going to tell you, these are my two favorite guys of anybody out there to watch.
And I love the decision to go no music. Let the audience, let the judges hear the power. And look at that. Textbook. Beautiful extension of the hands. Excellent kicks. Perfect landing on the illusion twist.
I mean, he just busted right out of the gate, and it goes back to what we were talking about on our pre-show earlier, just the creativity of Ben, just to bring something different, bring something that maybe you're not expecting to the table, especially through a creative form tonight.
And some more old school with the jump split kick. This creative form of his is just so good. Ben Jones with a fantastic creative form. Will it be enough against the high-flying extreme form of Esteban Tremblay? That's the question.
Yeah,
if anybody can do it, it's Ben.
That's right. But you guys don't call this guy Air Canada for nothing. And I mean, look at the friendship and brotherhood over there as Ben comes off the stage. You got to love that.
Esteban Tremblay, one of the best showmen in the sport right now. Holding out his arms for the crowd, giving him a yell. This is going to be a show. And you know somebody's good when, as their form is starting, you see in the crowd all the phones start popping up.
You got to love it. You got to love it.
Massive opening move from Esteban Tremblay, the kick full. line combination. Up, up, and away. Cheat 9, hook, cartwheel. Shuriken cutter off of the full setup. Love the creativity there to set up that cheat 720, beautifully executed. Air Canada takes flight again. Clean D-leg to the back of the ring. Let's see how he chooses to end it. Webster to the splits, and that will do it for Esteban.
Solid performance.
Man, these two are fun to watch.
Man, aren't they though?
Now on Battle Zone Countdown, Josh picked Ben to win it. Mallory picked Esteban to win it. Let's see how this shakes out.
Here we go.
9.98 all the way across the board.
Sounds like 9.98s across the board for Ben Jones. And
Which means
9.99s across the board for Esteban Tremblay, who will be your champion.
But man, what two great performances by two tremendous athletes right there.
And that's an example of how even in defeat, you can gain so much respect, right? It reminds me of somebody like a Marcel Jones competing against a Matt Emmett, where if Marcel Jones was up there for creative forms, you never discredited him for taking a loss to Matt Emmett's extreme form. You respected how good Marcel was at that creative form. And that's kind of the same situation that we see here.
That's right.
Where it's like, you don't look at that second place for Ben and say, oh, well, he lost. No, he did a fantastic creative form, and you just look at the extreme of Esteban Tremblay and say, well, yeah, that's an overall Grand Championship winning form, absolutely.
Y'all better watch out for that young boy. JPM, baby.
And now we are back to the fights. Moving along to the 18 and over NASKA Overall Grand Championship Black Belt Men Lightweight Point Fighting Division. Competitor number 1 on the blue side is going to be Mr. Bailey Murphy with Team Straight Up. Competitor number 2 on the red side is going to be Mr. Tyson Ray with Next Level.
We have the men's lightweight overall grand championship. On your right, in the all black of Team Straight Up, Bailey Murphy. On the left, in the blue uniform for Team Next Level, Tyson Ray.
And now Bailey Murphy comes off the coach's chair to compete himself.
Don't blink, ladies and gentlemen. 2 points for kicks, 1 point for hand techniques.
Here we go.
Two of the fastest fighters out there in the NASKA circuit so far.
Bailey getting his leg active early, tried to sneak a kick in there.
Most
Tyson
people forget
answers.
that Bailey can kick.
He's such a good blitzer, it's easy to forget.
Wow.
Speaking of blitzing.
Right on cue.
Wow.
Beautiful takeoff back fist. And I want the audience to pay attention to the way that Bailey Murphy sets that up. The fakes, the movement, the rhythm. You see Bailey Murphy trying to tiptoe his way out of an exit there. He does it effectively, stays in bounds.
Going out of bounds is an automatic.
And I mean, shout out to the awareness of knowing where he was in the ring.
Tyson Ray on the attack, able to score and even it up, but then Bailey Murphy right away with the body punch. And then again, Now he's starting to develop some momentum, and that's scary for Bailey Murphy.
I tell you, and as Mallory said, these are two of the fastest fighters in the game, so don't blink.
Ooh, the defensive kick falling away for Ray. That's huge for him.
Murphy with a 2-point lead, 37 seconds to go.
Oh, ducking under the leg, back fist. Did it land? It did. Highlight reel back fist from Tyson Ray. Murphy a little frustrated with some of those calls, it seems, putting his hands on his hips.
Now to that 4-4, 22 seconds to go.
Oh, head kick,
man.
Murphy.
That was beautiful. Remember we were just saying that we forget.
You forget he can kick, that's right.
And as soon as Tyson was just a little bit comfortable, boom, bam, that's where the head kick was. Ooh, Tyson might have had an opportunity there.
Well, I don't know right there. I've seen Bailey do a lot of that, and you look like you can catch him and he's off balance, and you notice he's winding up for a kick.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, let's see, I think the judges are trying to decide, is this 1 round or 2? That's what the discussion is. But a lot of times people will look at these guys and they'll say, he's the next Raymond Daniels. I think he's the first Bailey Murphy.
That's good.
I agree with that completely. What I think the judges are discussing here is there was, when Tyson landed that kick on Bailey, Tyson had 1 point for a blitz previously in the match.
I was thinking that too, yes.
And so when you had said that there was a 2-point deficit, I think that there was actually an extra point for Tyson Ray, and that's what they're meeting about.
And I think they did just make that adjustment and adjusted that score to 6-5.
And I thought I actually read the score wrong because I looked and I said, wait a minute, he should be up by 1 point. But I think that's very well scouted. Sometimes this action happens so fast. So, that's good on your coach.
That's right.
To keep track of that. And I know Jesse Ray, his dad and his coach, is going to be all over that.
Hey,
Bailey,
and shout out to the officials to be able to group up and talk through that and figure it out, because they've got a lot going on,
This is true.
But they were efficient enough to be able to know what the score was supposed to be as well.
Well, you got Chris Walker as the center referee, one of the best in the business.
And a little gamesmanship from Bailey there, being the first one on the line, trying to make a statement to Tyson.
That's it.
And also, speaking of gamesmanship, you see how they're shifting position.
I see that.
6-5 Bailey with a 1-point lead. Tyson,
look at that leg.
Man.
If you follow these guys on social media, that is a drill they do at Next Level. Him and his partner James Poor, they will kick all the way up and down the dojo and still have enough strength to kick at the end.
Counter strike for Murphy scores. He's up 2, 7-5. Tyson looks good. He's had his moments in this match. Goes for the defensive sidekick, but Bailey scores over the top. Ray explodes, scores. 8-6, Murphy.
Bailey not sitting back. Yeah.
Tyson's got to get that side kick in and stop Bailey to make it more effective for the judges.
And every time it looks like Bailey's about to try to pull away, Tyson's able to get that point he needs to keep it within 2.
Sometimes that can be a strategy. Just hang around the perimeter.
Yeah, cuts the lead to 1 there. I tell you, Tyson's just definitely playing smart out there and eating away at it. But, hey, Bailey being as fast as Bailey is, nails it back.
Beautiful back fist from Tyson.
No score on that exchange. I mean, I have to say that was one strategy to bring up Mike Conroy. In a firefight, a lot of times you weren't able to outpoint some of these people out here. He was like, just keep it close. And I'll tell you, when it's 30 seconds left, you explode on it.
Ooh, Murphy thought he scored
he
there.
did. He got it in that time, though.
Sometimes you got to throw those insurance punches.
Murphy with a 2-point lead with about 15 seconds to go. Make that a 3-point lead.
Ray probably needed that defensive side kick.
Yes.
He wasn't able to connect.
But did that one get in?
Oh, he got in.
That one does get in. That's huge.
4 seconds, got to get 1
Ray's
point.
got a chance.
He's got to get 1 point.
Go get it. Go get it. Oh, he couldn't get to him.
Jesse's upset. I don't know if he says that.
He said time was called.
Well, there's a couple of factors at play there, right? We can't see that back out of bounds line.
Yes.
Is that what Jesse Ray was looking at?
I think it was.
Was
yes.
Jesse Ray trying to get a call for running from the fight? Because that is a call that can
That's
be
right.
made.
That's right.
In my opinion, that looks just more like structured defensive movement from Bailey Murphy.
It did. I would agree
not
with that.
what I would define as running.
I would agree with that as well. Went very well circled. He never turned his back completely. He always had his eyes on the target. Very good defensive movement.
Brilliant fight between those two. Big props to Tyson Ray for being able to make that such a competitive match, staying in it. A lot of fighters, Bailey starts to go on one of those runs and you just can't stop it. Tyson's ability to stop that run and stay in this until literally the very last second, very impressive. And we will see Bailey Murphy 2 more times tonight. Open weight final, he will return to face Tyreeke Saint. But for now, we're going to throw it to commercial.
All right, now we are moving back to some forms competitions, and it's gonna be the 18 and over overall Grand Championship Black Belt Women Forms. Once again, returning to the stage is gonna be Caitlin McMillan.
Performance in the Weapons Overall Grand Championship. Haley Glass will be representing the Extreme Martial Artists, and then to close out the division, Gabrielle Rudolph as the Japanese Traditionalist.
I was wondering if they was going to leave the music going for there, and this is going to be a musical Kenpo form.
Hey, that's something different.
That almost sounds like an oxymoron.
Yes, yes, it does. I got to see Katie run this earlier today, and just a great display of strength and power, as you guys will see tonight.
One thing that I always like to remind the audience about with Kenpo forms is that whereas with Taekwondo, with karate, with some of these other traditional styles, it's very common for competitors to cater their form to a performance for competition. Kenpo stylists, they care nothing about that.
No, that's
they
right.
focus on throwing techniques that they would use in actual self-defense situations. That's the idea behind the patterns that they put together. And so you're not going to see much performance from Katie McMillan. Of course, her intensity will show through, because how could it not?
That's right.
But a lot of the techniques, there's going to be no showiness to this. This is all just effective martial arts that she's throwing.
I mean, you can look and compare what you've seen before, and just as I mentioned before, you can see the opponent. Right there, that's a bad place to be in a Kenpo form right there. You're not having a good time there.
That's right.
You are definitely not having a good time
That's exactly
there
right.
if you could see that opponent right there.
And a Karate Kid pose in the Kenpo form.
We've seen it all.
Great balance right there, absolutely.
And I think that's an example of really good form selection, because it's rare that in Kenpo forms you find opportunities like that to show off some balance like some of the Japanese or Korean forms might have. So I think the fact that she has selected this form in particular, she's trying to show that when she makes it to the Grand Championship round, she can be directly compared to some of those other stylists.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Great point there, Jackson. And a great performance there from Katie tonight, no doubt about it.
Have I mentioned how much I love the fact that Haley's wearing a fighting uniform? Haley, Bulletproof Glass of Team Paul Mitchell. Got one overall Grand Championship tonight. She wants another. Matt Yimig-esque yell to get the form going with that arm circle. Kids watching at home, if you don't know who Matt Yimig is, wait for the end of the show and then look him up on YouTube, please.
I'm pretty sure he's on some movie set somewhere.
And you can thank Jackson later for that.
We all know that Haley's going to be fast and powerful. It's going to come down to how cleanly does she land those big tricking techniques. There's the trademark speed and power I was talking about. This will be the difference maker. Touchdown race, flash, cartwheel full, lands it clean. Beautiful side swipe. Haley Glass joining a long line of successful Team Paul Mitchell Extreme Forms competitors in the women's division. Caitlin Deschelle, Mackenzie Emery, Sammy Smith, among others. And now Haley Glass, as she finishes her form with a bang. She's back.
That's right, she is back for sure.
And the final competitor coming into the division is also representing Team Paul Mitchell. It's going to be Gabrielle Rudolph.
And the disclaimer that I always give when this competitor comes to the stage, yes, everyone at home, this is my wife. I will not attempt to give unbiased commentary. I think she's awesome. I will leave that up to Josh and Mallory.
Hey, Josh, we're jumping in.
There you go, and just take it from somebody that's been married a little bit longer than you have. I always give biased opinions. Yes, that's the best advice I got for you tonight. But Gabrielle is one of the most amazing competitors in this sport, as you guys will see in her performance tonight.
And to tell you the truth, I have no idea what kata she's doing tonight. She didn't tell me.
Leaving it as a surprise for you.
That's right.
It'll be Paparin. She considers Paparin to be her ace kata. And much like with Haley, where we talked about how the critical parts of the form was going to be the landing of the tricking techniques, with Gabrielle, there's a few balance moves in the kata Paparin that's going to make or break the performance. If she lands them clean, she gives herself a really good chance. If she has any bobbles, probably takes her out of the running.
Nice.
She's another traditionalist that trains out of the Kinsei-Kan Dojo in Miami under Robert Young. Gabrielle's always been someone who prides herself on kind of the beauty and the grace of her kata. But something that she's added to her game more recently is really trying to increase the amount of power that she brings to each of her techniques. One of those big balance techniques coming up right here. Base foot staying stable.
Outstanding job.
Great deal of leg strength being shown on that squat. That's classic for Paparin.
Beautiful kata and solid performance from Miss Gabrielle Rudolph right there.
Now it is all in the hands of the judges.
All the hard work is done.
for Kenpo Katie.
9.98, 9.97, 9.97, 9.97, and 9.97.
8 coming out for the Kenpo stylist, something that all the Kenpo fans out there love to see. Scores coming soon for Haley Glass.
Not 7 in there for Haley.
2 sevens.
2.
This one sounds like it's going to be a close one. I believe Haley has enough 9s to pull it off.
9.98, 9.99, 9.98, 9.98, 9.99, and 9.98 for Gabrielle Rudolph.
And it does look like that will be enough for Haley Glass to claim 2 overall Grand Championships on the evening. Bulletproof's back.
Yes, indeed. Hey, that trip out to the Royal Seas did not, what's this ring rust? Hey.
That's right.
So that will bring it in to Haley's evening on a very successful weekend. Gabrielle will be returning for the Korean Challenge special event coming up here at the Battle of Atlanta. Dennis Brown in the green suit. He's got some drip, as the kids say.
Absolutely. Seafood Brown
always
always dripping.
Oh, indeed.
Yes.
Look at the swagger on that little turnaround.
That's right. That's right.
If you don't know, now you know.
That's right.
And we're going to be moving on into one of my absolute favorite divisions. This is the Battle of Atlanta Team Synch Challenge. We're going to be seeing competitors come up here and not just perform an amazing performance, but do it completely synchronized with excellent timing and perfect precision. The first team that's going to be coming to the stage is Team AKA. We are Team AKA.
Vintage Team AKA intro there. Synchronized double fulls to get the action started. You'll see a lot of influence of AKA sync forms of old, a little bit off on the intro there.
Yep.
Right back in sync for the hand combos though.
Nice timing there.
Little handshake in the middle. Hyper fulls right into the dive roll. Love the mirroring that they're doing in that section. Has a really nice aesthetic to it. The 540 split will bring an energetic into the sync form of Team AKA.
Good performance there, and I tell you, you could definitely tell those two gentlemen were having a blast out there.
And as mentioned before, Ben Jones and Esteban Triplett.
And I'm going to have to say this. It looks like they were listening to Jackson earlier talk about how much he loved Haley being in the fight uniforms. And guess what, boys?
Now they got the, is there a Slack channel or Discord for JPM?
And I love what Ben Jones just did, an old trick of mine. When you go on stage just doing a little nonchalant release, the crowd thinks you're just giving them a little something. He's checking the lights because he saw what happened.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Small secrets here.
These boys seeking vengeance. Team AKA beat Dawson and Ben Jones. Dawson Holt and Ben Jones in the Forms eliminations. Ben and Esteban now looking to get revenge for Team Paul Mitchell. And a lot of the times, you see them having fun and smiling in this Synch form. No smiles in this one, they mean business.
They're locked and loaded.
These are the two top creative musical extreme bow performers in the world today, moving in sync. The bow strikes, the tricks, everything clicking right now.
Nice.
Staying in sync for the double spin. Now passing the bows back and forth across the stage. One more double spin and that will do it.
Great
for
performance
Ben
right
Jones
there.
And Esteban Tremblay, the Truth, Air Canada working together for a fantastic performance. They're even celebrating in sync.
I tell you, speed matching speed right there. That was super impressive.
And that's the best that I've seen Ben and Esteban look in a while. You can tell that this meant something to them. They wanted to get this one back.
They got pushed a little bit. Sometimes you need that.
And it sounds like Ben Jones and Esteban Tremblay have answered the call. 9.98s across the board for AKA, which means Paul Mitchell will get the win by unanimous decision. To make an NBA reference, it's what happens when you poke the bear.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's my dad.
Yes, yes.
So coming to the stage, for everybody at home that's confused right now, my dad, Eric Rudolph, in the gray shirt on stage presenting the award with a good friend of his, as Reid calls out my dad. And then Reid Presley, of course, presenting the award. They both do a lot of great work for Sport Karate, doing a lot of the coordinating at these events.
Yeah, it'd be really hard to run some of this stuff without those guys.
It is. It's really hard to put into words how much value they bring, not just events, but the sport in general. And I tell you, I can't say enough good things about Mr. Reid Presley and Mr. Eric Rudolph. I tell you, two solid, tremendous men who won't no credit. They would just rather be behind the scenes, but man, do they put the foundation in place and the action to work. And there's two great men that just do so much for our sport.
It looks like we are going to get a performance from Mr. Reid Presley. It's becoming a Battle of Atlanta tradition.
Yes. Must be a very well-tailored suit, I'll tell you.
Signature move of Reid's. Oh, he didn't do the hyper full. I wanted to see the hyper full of the suit. Reid, when you watch this later, just know that's what I wanted.
I second that.
Magneto. Great job, Reid. Obviously, he and I had a lot of great battles together. Love to see him still out there doing his thing. As much as it makes me want to grab a green bow and run up there.
You know, I was just fixing to say, I think you should next year. I think we should just have that surprise. Just here comes Jackson.
All right, now we're going to be moving on to the 18 and over overall Grand Championship Black Belt Men's Traditional Weapons. The first competitor is going to be Alec Jahanbash.
Now we have the men's traditional weapons overall grand championship. On stage now, Alec Jahanvash, brother of Shaheen Jahanvash, who is no stranger to the Battle of Atlanta stage. He shared many of those battles with Reid and I on this stage with his traditional double sword form. Now his younger brother following in those footsteps.
And I do believe it is Shaheen's first Father's Day tomorrow.
Oh, really?
That's right.
You know,
That's special.
Welcome to brand new baby.
That's awesome.
And what I love about this form of Alex is that there is some vintage Shaheen in here,
yes,
but there's also plenty that Alec does differently that sets his performance apart from what Shaheen used to do. Like that was vintage Shaheen, right? But just before that, we saw a few moments where Alec did some things that Shaheen didn't do as much. And so it's great to see him kind of coming into his own and creating his own legacy. Little hop on the landing from that jump technique. And this is an interesting division because we've got some new faces, right? So until we see some of the new faces in this division, we really don't know how much a stumble from an established competitor like Alec, how much is that going to loom, right?
I think that's a good point.
Great point.
New talent that come up, so you don't know how they're going to handle being on the stage.
Because if you are a truly great competitor competing against someone that hasn't been there and done that yet, sometimes you can suffer a stumble and still be able to get the edge because of the rest of your performance. Now that being said, his competition could come up here and be fantastic and all that flies out the window.
That's right.
That's what we love so much about having new competitors on stage. Otherwise, very solid performance from Alec Jahanvash.
And the next competitor should be Dominic Lancaster.
And here is the new face to the stage, Dominic Lancaster, a student of Brett Thomason, who was also in this division. Brett known for his Iku or Or form, and now his student, Dominic Lancaster, again, trying to create his own legacy with it now, much like Alec.
You know, as an instructor, if you have your student, every instructor, I believe they want their students to be better than they were. And, there's nobody more, happy than his instructor right now, seeing his success on stage.
Yeah, you can kind of see Brett off in the shadows. He's coming up on deck. He's next, but you just see the joy in his face and watching his student there
smiling
compete.
ear to ear, yeah.
Coming up, Gigi and Cole!
Just mentioning instructor and student, of course. When you're up here and you're waiting and you can see off, well, we can see off to the side. This is really off camera. You see Brett cheering him on, clapping and everything. For me, meeting my instructor in sparring, it was no bowing out. It was, hey, we've done this 1,000 times in practice, and we're just doing it on stage now.
I love it.
That was a well-established rule. It was told to me right away.
Yes, I love it. I love it, man.
And look at the elevation that he just got on that jump. I was talking to some of the judges in his elimination round earlier, and they said that was the difference maker. That huge jump is what really stood out to them and lifted him above some of his competition.
I mean, he just sprang off the floor, it made it look easy, landed light as a feather.
So remember what we were saying about not knowing yet how much Alex stumble will matter? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, based on this performance so far, probably going to matter. When you see a competitor like Dominic come out here and look like he has, he's represented himself very well, very strong form so far. It's going to be hard to beat that with a stumble.
A very solid performance for Dominic right there.
But hey, those are two relative young guns in this division. Now Dominic's instructor, Brett Thomason, he comes to the stage, the winner of the Chinese weapons division. So not the hardstyle non-bladed, not the hardstyle bladed like we've seen in our first two competitors, but the winner of the Chinese weapons division. Judge representing Team St. Louis, and the most experienced of them all.
Most experienced, eh? Okay.
One thing I love about Kung Fu weapons in particular is like something so simple as just like that one-handed stab and then to hold it and let it down with such control. That takes a great deal of coordination and strength. That is not easy. He makes it look easy, but it's not.
And you really have to watch a lot of these soft styles completely, just the beauty and the grace. There's something simple but yet so elegant. Look at how straight and how no wobble whatsoever in holding that out.
Dennis Brown is on the judging panel. You know he's watching this one carefully.
Very carefully.
Left and right-handed figure eight manipulation. Mixes it up with a little palm spin. That is one thing about Wushu or Kung Fu competitors. Because of the rules of their division, they are able to mix it up a little bit. You could never get away with doing a palm spin like that in a hard style traditional bow form.
Correct.
But for this,
you added a little flavor.
That's right.
A very solid spear performance from Brett Thomason.
And competitors return to the stage. Now, while they're coming out here, I was just told that Brett and Dominic are both from the same martial arts school. Brett is the instructor and Dominic is the student, so it's actually really special to see two competitors from the same school appearing in the overall competition.
Both disciples of Terry Creamer coming out of St. Louis, Brett Thomason and Dominic Lancaster.
Speaking of legends, you know.
9.99.
I see some 9.99s despite the stumble.
9.99, 9.98, and 9.98. Next up, we have Dominic for school.
And that may have been 4 9.99s
I think
for
it
Alec
was.
Jahanbakhsh.
Looks like even with the little stumble there, he did enough.
But this is the exact situation that we were talking about.
Yes.
That's right.
An established competitor, a new face to the stage. That is hard to overcome for somebody that hasn't been under these lights before. I personally thought that Dominic Lancaster rose to the occasion.
Yes.
But in this case, Alec Jahanbakhsh, I mean, granted, the other 99% of Alec Jahanbakhsh's form was great.
It was.
He executed it very well. He had great intensity. It was clean. There was a lot to appreciate about Alec Jahanbakhsh's form. And in the eyes of those 4 of the 7 judges, they just determined that the stumble was not severe enough to warrant him losing this overall Grand Championship.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's really important to mention that it's not just one judge, but there were 4.
It was 4. It was 4. It was. And G-Force Joe Greenhall presenting the award tonight.
Yes, sir.
To Alec
Mr.
Jahanbakhsh.
G.
Mr. G.
You know, if I make fun of him on the stream, I'll hear about it next.
You
next
will.
tournament.
You will.
Oh, he will let me know.
100%.
So nothing but respect for Mr. Joey Greenhall there.
Thanks, Reid. I'm here with Kate. Congratulations on a job well done. What do you most proud of in your instructor
to compete, and after doing it for 11 plus years, I still get nervous for every single division, but I think trusting in my training and knowing what I've done to prepare leading up to it just gives me the confidence to just go out there and do what I've worked on, do what I've trained, because I mean, I've done the work, so now it's just go out, have fun, and do the same thing.
You've recently set sail. Speaking of fun, tell us a little bit about that experience.
It was so amazing. I just finished 3 months on Royal Caribbean's largest cruise ship, Wonder of the Seas, as the lead performer of an all-female aqua show called Intense. And it was honestly the coolest thing I think I've ever done. And what I love so much about it is that it wasn't just martial artists. I was actually the only martial artist there. There was myself, dancers, slackliners, high divers, synchronized swimmers from all over the world. So getting to combine all these disciplines into one amazing show was just an honor, and I loved every second of it.
Sounds amazing. We can't wait to see what all you'll accomplish next. Thanks so much, Haley. We'll be back right after this.
A good workout can be elusive, disappearing the moment you look away at some other interest in your schedule. Our attention is divided, and life moves quickly. It can pass you by, even as you're living it. But not you. You make it work. You make the time. The fighting spirit haunts you, and you want to keep it close, right there in your home, where you can keep up the fight. The perfect at-home workout lives on in a new age. The Century Ghost Wavemaster. Ethereal design. Real results.
To a super special division where you guys have been cheering super loud for all of the competition so far, but for this one, I have a personal ask that you guys really blow the roof off for these future stars. We are going to be doing a future star division, which is sponsored by Century Martial Arts. These are going to be the people that one day you will see competing in the black belt division, going for these overalls. So please give it up for competitor number 1, Kaylee Aviola. Let's give it up for Kaylee. Awesome job. Awesome, awesome job. Next up in this demonstration is going to be Jocelyn Westerfield.
But now on stage, we have Jocelyn Westerfield. Looks like another traditional performance coming our way.
I would suspect so. You never know. Might throw a couple 540s in here.
Mallory, if we see a 540 kick right now, I will give you $100.
Look, I can always use $100. And $100 is $100.
Oh, and now appreciating the logo on the back of her uniform, much like Brett Thomason that we saw before, a student at Terry Creamer's Martial Arts Academy.
That's right.
She hadn't quite turned. I couldn't recognize, but you're absolutely right.
Two underbelts in a row with great intensity.
Yes. Well, if you're going to Mr. Kramer's school, I mean, I think that's written into the contract.
I'll never forget Terry Creamer at the Diamond Nationals several years ago, bringing out the Tonfa form to turn down for what? Iconic.
Very much so.
Putting great power behind her techniques as well. It's not just the intensity,
Yes.
good development of power.
Let's give it
using
up
her
for
hips to generate
Jocelyn.
it. Well done.
And I'll tell you, the crowd really getting behind her right there too, man. They loved that performance. It was solid.
And the final competitor of this demonstration is Ariana Gonzalez.
And our final competitor coming to the stage for the Underbelt Showcase, Ariana Gonzalez. And notable for all the Lady Warriors watching from home, every Underbelt Forms Grand Championship, it seems, was won by a female athlete.
How about that? Mary would be proud, as she mentioned on our pregame show.
Yeah, if you guys watch it from home, didn't catch Battle Zone Countdown earlier, you missed out on a lot of fun. We were joined by Mary Amato. Zach Johnson, Masters champion, made an appearance.
I mean, you had him at, he just strolled on in, sank every putt. You know, these things happen.
Yeah, I'd tell you, I'm very proud of all of us, you know, the three of us and Mary, for allowing Zach to have his moment and win the putting contest.
We had to go easy on him.
I know he appreciates that.
You know, I hope.
I mean, the last thing we wanted to do was show up a Masters champion.
I mean, I hope it builds his confidence.
Absolutely.
You know, get another green jacket.
100%.
And shifting our attention back to Ariana, doing some more logo recognition. She's got a pretty famous logo on the back of her gi, Florida Sport Martial Arts Academy.
I had a few of those guys on the stage.
Under the tutelage of Will Canonizato, father of the great Mark Canonizato. And I just love what Battle of Atlanta has done with this by giving those underbelts that have achieved the highest level that they can in this event, winning the Grand Championship, giving them the opportunity to get a taste of what it's like to be on that black belt Battle Zone final stage. Truly special.
And I really had to say, from being there, being an adult underbelt, and you got a chance to be on the stage one time, you're thinking, oh, I got to do this a whole lot more.
That's how we all get hooked, right? You have that one shot. You have your big break, and you're like, oh, I can get used to this.
Well, the first taste is always free, you know.
Nice jumping front kick. And beautifully done. by Ariana Gonzalez, performing Shotnyana Kusanku, a black belt level 4.
Bring all 3 competitors back up. And if I'm correct, it looks like James Poor, if my vision is correct, bringing the trophies up on stage. Now these are the classic tall trophies that you would see.
That's right.
Now, so here's a question. How did you get these home? If you ever won one of these and you flew?
The short answer is I didn't. They often accidentally wind up in a hotel room. However, I learned after the fact that apparently you can disassemble these. It's not too difficult. You can get them in a suitcase, take them home that way. Rob Campbell from Century Martial Arts, a Kung Fu stylist himself, presenting the award. And a little gift bag from Century Martial Arts.
I tell you, I was going to give Rob a shout out too. If you don't follow that guy on TikTok, you need to check him out, man. Speaking of kung fu and weapons, like he's got some impressive stuff out there.
He's got some mean rope dart skills.
Yes, he does. Such a great guy too, man.
Oh yeah.
And let's give them one more round of applause.
And as a martial arts nerd, I can appreciate Rob a lot too. You know, I spent essentially a year in between my undergraduate and medical school working with Century Martial Arts on site in Oklahoma City. And I remember we had a meeting about some weapons quality stuff, and we were going over various things. And I covered a lot of the hard style weapons. And Rob put together a whole presentation about a lot of the kung fu weapons. Was extremely insightful. Loved every minute of it.
Wow.
It was always fun showing up to work at Century.
Man, I can only imagine.
Overall Grand Championship, black belt men, traditional forms. First competitor coming to the stage. First competitor is going to be Joe Cantelli. Once again, first competitor coming to the stage is going to be Mr. Joe Cantelli.
Judges, my name is Joe Cantelli. I study Kempo Karate. Name my foreign is Hung Chao. With your permission, may I begin?
Give it up for Joe Cantelli. And our next competitor coming to the stage is going to be Jeff Doss.
NASKA, but really in the NBL, winning some of those super grands. Very, very decorated competitor. It's always good to see him back on stage with his trademark, unlike any other intensity.
That's right.
I met Jeff when he was 7, and I still don't believe the date that's on my driver's license.
You're telling off on yourself, Mallory.
Look, it's out there.
We were waiting on one of those kicks. Here they come. Beautiful.
Crowd loving it.
And I've said on my podcast before, if there's anybody that's going to be a Korean stylist and try to take down one of the dominant Japanese stylists like we have in this sport, Mason Stowell will be on stage tonight after Jeff. If there's anybody that can beat the Japanese style with a Korean form, it's Jeff Doss. He's the guy that has the ability to do it because of his kicking skills and everything else about his performance.
And speaking of social media, another good person to watch on social media. He will show you how he trains to get this flexibility for the kicks and the intensity.
That's right.
All the secrets are out there.
Couple of jump techniques in that segment of the form. Clean landings on both.
Nice.
That's just beautiful. Another beautiful side kick.
Yeah, I like to call those Ric Flairs because you hear a couple Ric Flairs coming out of the crowd, you know, there, just getting the crowd all fired up. Outstanding job, Jeff Doss.
Sushi, as they call him.
And the final competitor of men's traditional forms is going to be Mason Stowell.
Now Mason Stowell of Top 10 Team USA taking the stage. He's the winner of the traditional challenge for the Japanese division as well as the Japanese Okinawan division. A dominant force in this sport over the last few years.
Oh, yes,
last
indeed.
year, when the Battle of Atlanta had the Ultimate Grand Championship, this was your winner.
You're definitely going to see a tremendous display of strength and power and focus and intensity right here, just all in one.
I was talking to Mason on our Inside Sport Karate show earlier, said that he's actually been dealing with a hamstring injury that he suffered a couple of tournaments ago, and it has impacted his decision making going into the kata that he's going to perform tonight.
Interesting.
If I heard correctly, he said Ohan Dai, which is one of his old reliable katas.
But it's also good that you could switch, something that you know that will be a little bit more friendly to an injury that you're nursing. And a hamstring injury will rear its ugly head and just hang around for a while.
And for a traditional kata competitor that's going to use those hamstrings a lot for the kicks, the stances, the explosiveness, could definitely impact performance. So far, looks like the same old Mason, and that's a good thing.
It is.
He's another one of those competitors where the speed is just out of this world. When he explodes and goes into one of those techniques, fractions of a second.
And then, of course, let's mention that competing out on the world stage, doing a lot of international competitions and placing well.
Beautiful balance.
Man, tremendous balance.
Hamstring looks good there.
I was going to say, it's holding up.
And that's what I love about this Grand Championship here. I mean, we are seeing world-class Korean forms with Jeff Doss and world-class Japanese forms now with Mason Stowell. Two of the best at what they do. And as Mason Stowell brings his form to a close, also have to give a shout out to his sister September, who surprised him in his attendance here today. Because she will be getting a championship ring from the Denver Nuggets because
world
she's one of their
champs.
cheerleaders.
That's it.
Yes.
Let's have all 3 competitors return to the stage.
I wonder if Joe's going to run out. Seeing if he was going to run out for awards presentation.
Now, if Mason wins the Battle of Atlanta, should they throw a parade like they had for the Nuggets back in Denver?
I think they, you might want to get that in the petition, and, see if the council will do so. Maybe do them both at the same time.
9.97, 9.97, and 9.97. Up next, we have Jeff Doss.
Moment of truth for Jeff Doss.
9.98, 9.98, 9.98, 9.98, 9.98, and 9.98. Jeff Doss.
And it does look like by one of the judges on the end there, Jeff Doss was able to get a 9.99.
Yeah, thought I saw that too.
9.99, 9.99, 9.99,
And that will be a win. 6 judges to 1 in favor of Mason Stowell. He gets the overall Grand Championship. And some familiar faces for him presenting the award. Bob Liker and Mark Russo of the Amerikick Internationals, the home tournament of Top 10 Team USA and the Amerikick national team, coached by Coach Liker and Russo respectively.
Congratulations, Mason.
Great traditional martial arts there. Mason Stowell coming out on top. And after the photo op, now a word from our sponsors.
Rudolph in the broadcasting booth back there. He's still got it. He's still got it. All right, we're going to be moving right along.
Next year, you need to be up on that stage in that suit. Telling you, bring back the swag.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. Get a little showdown between Reid and Jackson.
Telling you. I'm telling you. I'm calling for it right now.
Black belt women, Korean Forms Challenge.
Now this was new at the Battle of
It is.
Yes.
And I think they're going to go head to head.
Yes, so the Korean Challenge, very unique format. They had a couple of elimination rounds that ran just like a normal division, what we would call a normal division. But now for the Korean Challenge, we have some specialized judges that have come to the stage. And now these two ladies, Kaylin Vong on your left, Gabrielle Rudolph on your right, they will perform Korean Pumse at the same time, and judges will make a decision about who was better.
So this is a little bit different than what you would see from a traditional NASKA tournament. both competitors at the same time. I often wonder how the judges, are giving good enough attention to both competitors. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I love it because as a competitor, you have to steal the attention away. And what's interesting here is that Caitlin Vong's form looks like she's doing choreo. A lot of the high kicks at the beginning.
Yes.
Gabrielle running Gay Beck, a lot of the major moments at the end of the form.
Yes.
And so I did not know about any of Gabrielle's strategy going into this, but I think that she made the right decision, especially if she knew that Caitlin was doing choreo with the highlights early and Gabrielle could follow up with the highlights later in the form.
Great point. I'll tell you, and as a competitor, you got to wonder, tell yourself, don't rush. Don't let the crowd take over and you kind of get, overhyped and rush through your form. Just stay at your typical tempo as if you were the only competitor out there.
And in this case, you're not. So it's like, okay, all right. You're doing your kata, and you're used to having the stage to yourself. But yet there's another competitor there, and you really have to kind of look past that.
Now, to counteract the strategy, by the way, the fact that those two forms just ended at the same time is ridiculous.
It is.
I never realized that Gay Beck and choreo could take the same amount of time.
Unbelievable.
But that's beside the point. I also want to note, I mentioned how Gabrielle's strategy could work out for her. Caitlin Vong, choreo, uses a lot more of the front of the stage, whereas Gabrielle's Gay Beck uses a lot more of the back of the stage. So there's a lot of factors going on here. This would be tough to judge. I'm interested to see what they do.
Judges ready?
Is it a traditional point? Yes.
And the judges point in favor of Caitlin Vong, and she will be your winner of the Women's Korean Challenge. Kurt Shyrock standing right next to the judges, letting them know how happy he is with that result. Caitlin Vong, a member of Team CBR, of course, standing for Team Christine Bannon-Rodriguez. She's got a great squad that she's put together recently. So congratulations to Caitlin. And now Jeff Doss returning to the stage for the Men's Korean Forms Challenge final. Not too far removed from his run in the overall Grand Championship. His opponent, William Smart. And what's interesting here is that Jeff Doss, more of a Taekwondo stylist against, as you can tell by the midnight blue borders on the uniform and belt, Tong Sudo for William Smart. Now this is a circumstance where I think that Jeff's ability to perform gives him a big advantage.
That's right.
Because a lot of this,
so too.
If you can steal the judge's attention and make them look at you and not the other person, that's huge. Man, can you imagine an extreme division like this?
Man.
New idea for 2024.
Flying sidekick on Jeff Doss's side. This is awesome.
It is.
I love everything about this. That just elicited a smile next to the broadcasting booth from Bear Leby, showing his support for his old NBL running mate, Jeff Doss.
I would think the spacing would play a big point in this too, knowing how far your kata is going to go.
It's impacting Jeff right now.
It is.
And I think that was an adjustment from Jeff to take those couple of paces
I think it was.
Yes, he did, because those two kicks followed up, and he would have gotten very close to William.
See, but Jeff could have got 2 points for that side kick, right?
That's right.
If he would have landed it.
That's right. And let's be honest, his opponent may not have been able to finish.
Okay, now this is an interesting dynamic. Jeff is finished.
Holding it.
William Smart still has more to go. So this is Smart's opportunity to say, yeah, you guys watch Jeff. Watch me finish this thing.
That's right.
All part of the strategy.
Jeff holding that horse stance there with that punch out there, though.
Which you got to love that. The fact that he's holding the stance, that's a statement in and of itself.
And just look at his face, the intensity, the focus. Look at there. Knew exactly when to come to ready stance.
Professional.
That was impressive.
Beautiful.
Both gentlemen, excellent job. The point from the judges. A 3-2 split goes in favor of Sushi himself.
Yes.
Jeff Doss is your Korean Forms Challenge champion.
Man, what a great display by both those competitors right there. And I'm like you, Jackson. I love every part of that right there.
I want to see Japanese traditional challenge done that way.
Yes.
You know, one of the
Yes.
problems, or not problems, one of the areas to improve that the sport faces is the fact that as of right now, sorry, we're getting some information in the broadcast booth that made me chuckle a little bit. However, what was I talking about? Help me out, y'all.
In terms of using the Japanese
Oh, yes,
style of
yes.
that-
As of right now, the traditional challenge NASKA division and the Japanese Okinawa NASKA division, there are some rule differences, but the forms that you get are very, very similar.
Yes.
This format could be a great change of pace for the NASKA Japanese traditional challenge, in which you have head-to-head competition instead of it operating just as another more regular division. That's the point that I was trying to make.
Yes.
I think
yes.
there's definitely some room to expand and grow in that way.
And we're moving right along to the men's openweight sparring final matches. Coming to the stage is going to be Tyreeke Saint on the blue side and Bailey Murphy on the red side. They're doing a gear check, gear check. And centering this match is going to be Justin Ortiz.
Opponents, good friends and training partners. Bailey Murphy on the left in all black. Tyreeke Saint on the right in the red and blue. Bailey defeated Tyreeke Saint in the lightweight division earlier today.
There's the first
Fadeaway
point of the
back
match.
fist. Murphy opens up the scoring 1-0.
Now, if you notice, Bailey's using his length, but Tyreeke, did he score that?
He
Yes,
did.
that
He
get
did.
scored.
It landed first.
Tyreek's going to stay a lot in the pocket here. He's not going to let the fakes and everything that Bailey usually gets people to bite on or either get lulled to sleep by. He's going to stay in that pocket. Now, you notice he was scouted that back fist this time. He had a glove on it, but looks like didn't get enough on it.
And Bailey just landing that fadeaway back fist once again.
Tyreek's got to push that back fist out of the way to make sure and make it clear to the judges that it did not score.
Clash.
Good call on the clash
yes,
there.
Very good call.
If you watch the feet of both gentlemen, when they get inside a 1.5 foot distance, somebody's going, whether it's Murphy or Saint.
And both of them so skilled at setting everything up with the fakes. And you notice there are times, as it looks like Murphy deals with a bit of an injury, or not Murphy, Saint deals with a bit of an injury there. We'll take a moment and see what exactly happened.
I think it might have been an elbow. It looks like
an
when they
inadvertent
clashed.
elbow.
Yes, definitely an inadvertent elbow. Even though they have elbow pads on, that's going to sneak through with power. It looks like that's what happened during that exchange.
And you were talking about these two gentlemen taking off, and I was just fixing to say, if they take off at the same time, which is exactly what looks like might have happened, you see what could possibly take place there.
You know, even though it's accidental, it doesn't mean that the pain is going away, that the incident that happened, and of course, you know, completely unintentional there. Okay, looks like more of a headbutt now, or it's hard to imagine.
We need a slow motion replay
It did
to
to
see
me
exactly
look like
what
their
happened
heads
there.
did hit rather than the elbow. I couldn't really tell because everything obviously happened so fast. But Tyreeke looks like he's ready to roll now.
It's weird because sometimes you get up after this and it's like, okay, I'm ready to go now.
Very close to scoring on both sides. Saint takes off and scores.
He has the lead for the first time in the match.
Lots of energy from the crowd, as you guys can probably hear.
Seems like Saint really wants to slide in one of those defensive side kicks. He keeps flashing it every time Bailey fakes.
It's also just a game of inches. If you notice, he is creeping up. Both these guys getting closer and closer. Belt comes loose. It looks like Saint's down again. I'm not sure if he...
And also Saint kind of grabbing at his face.
Yeah,
as
he got hit in the face there, and it looks like he's still in some pain.
Yes.
And what's interesting about this is that with neither of these encounters, he's never been dazed.
No.
It was never a rock. It's like a facial pain, it seems, that he's experiencing. Yeah.
Saint telling the EMTs to stay on their side of the stage.
All tied up. 15 seconds remaining.
15 seconds left. We're not at 4.
Saint goes
the tie goes in favor of Saint.
Oh,
Murphy knows he has to push.
5 seconds to go.
Now, do you go or you go for the tie?
Oh, he goes for the win
Oh.
right at the time is expired.
That'll do it. Open weight, one round in the final.
Pulls it out.
Tyreeke Saint takes off at the end and scores at the buzzer.
If you were watching the pre-show, who called Tyreeke Saint
as
as the winner?
I was just fixing to point that out too, Mallory. Yep, Mal called it.
Another reason to watch that pre-show.
And that's what you love to see is Bailey smiling, right?
Yes,
These guys are friends.
That's right, man. They
yes,
hugged
they're
at the
opponents
end.
in the ring, but the sportsmanship is just crazy. They're happy for each other's success.
Absolutely.
A way to fight through that
Tyreeke
adversity.
enjoying the moment.
Yes.
And a roller coaster of a fight for Tyreeke.
Absolutely.
Right? Being able to get a lead, losing a lead, getting his face hurt in some way, shape, or form.
Something happening twice, and then just continue to push through.
And one of the best open weight titles to win in all of North America here at Battle of Atlanta, where they get some of the biggest turnouts for this division every year. Your champion for 2023, Tyreeke
here,
Saint.
side stage. Mason, talk me through your preparation for an event like this, especially because I know you've been battling with some injuries.
Yeah, so a couple months ago, I had a hamstring injury, and it's been really tough to fight through. And so going into this event, I was a little unsure about like my game plan going in, and I had to adjust. You know, it was a tough decision, but like a lot of my main katas that I do in competition that I throw, I had to kind of cut from the game plan just because of my legs. So, but I mean, it ended up working out in the long run, and it feels good once it's all said and done. So, yeah.
You're running a school now. How has that been?
It's been amazing. It's most of my inspiration comes from my kids that I go home to. So I like going to these events, coming home, you know, with the big trophy, and they're all like super excited to see it, and they push me. So it's really exciting, and it's a big part of my life. So
I know they'll be so proud of you for what you've done here this weekend. Congratulations, and more to come right after this.
All right, and now we're going to be moving into one of the most energetic competition divisions that you guys will see all night. Both of these teams have put in hours upon hours of work to make sure that they can give you guys an excellent competition and showing. We are moving on to the Team Demo Challenge at the Battle of Atlanta. The first team coming to the stage is going to be Team Infinity.
Now as we move to the team demonstration division, we've got a battle of two blue bloods in the team demo category. Both of these teams, multiple-time ISKA World Champions of the US Open. Team Infinity
from Wisconsin against Team Competitive Edge from just about everywhere else.
You know, we've mentioned this before, the difference between these team demos, because sometimes you have, well, a lot of times you have lots of competitors on the stage. There's so much to watch. As you can see, as Team Infinity is getting set up, they're placing weapons around, and they'll probably begin with some open hand forms, and then they'll grab those weapons. And who knows what we'll see. There's always something new.
And one thing that's so great about the team demonstration category is that this is something that for anybody watching from home that's familiar with like their regular martial arts school demo, that if you're going to go to a local fair or something like that and your school's going to put on, this is what that is, just done at an extremely high level competitively.
There's often demonstrations like this at a mall or at a high school halftime show that will get people to sign up because their sons and daughters seem to say, I want to do that.
That's right.
Beautiful sidekick there in the front middle by Will Nevin.
Yeah, that line is clean.
And that's an interesting difference between these two teams, is that Infinity truly does use this to try to inspire people to come to the Infinity Martial Arts chain of schools in that Midwest area. Whereas Competitive Edge, they're a competition team first. And so they're not trying to get anybody to come to a school, they just want to win.
That's a different dynamic there. Good point.
Of course, Infinity wants to win more than anything else too. Very high level of difficulty on that comma transition. Commas flying in the air, different people throwing and catching. What Mike Welch has done with this team over the years is truly incredible.
I mean, really, you almost have to watch this back in slow motion to see everything that's going on. As you mentioned, two different people threw two different commas, and two different people, they caught them.
That's right.
Nolan Grunwald, part of this bow combination here with three of his teammates. We saw him earlier in the show. We see a drop on that left side of the stage on your screen. In team demonstration, that is not a mandatory penalty because you have so many things going on. Drops are relatively common in the division.
Yes.
It's just there's so many people doing so many difficult maneuvers. So it's not an automatic disqualification. It's not a death sentence by any means.
Yeah, but can
however,
always play a factor.
Exactly. If Competitive Edge doesn't have any mistakes whatsoever,
it could come down to that.
We've said that once before tonight, though.
We have. I do believe we are repeating ourselves in saying that.
Back to another bow combination. Will Nevin front and center. Synchronized 540s. And box cutters going every which way. Now Alex Riggs front and center with the split kick. A signature part of the closing combo for Infinity. So much creativity.
I was just going to say that, just to be able to envision all of this at one time.
And a fantastic demonstration from Team Infinity.
And you're talking about visualization. I mean, that's where I just have to give a shout out to the coaches. I mean, just to be able to just think through a process like this, to put something like that together that just, you know, showcases everything and everybody. You know, you get to see a little bit of everything, as you saw with Infinity, and as you'll definitely see, as Jackson can tell you firsthand, what you're going to see here with Competitive Edge as well.
It's like putting together a movie scene.
It is.
You know?
It is.
Team coming to the stage, it's going to be Team Competitive Edge.
Of course, Team Competitive Edge, head coaches, myself, and all of the Presley brothers. We recently included all of our Competitive Edge alumni that made the move over to Team Paul Mitchell. They are now assistant coaches on the team. We've got a whole new generation of athletes, stars all over the stage. We're super proud of these guys. And now it's just time for them to execute. They won the elimination, which is why they earned the opportunity to go second here tonight. A brand new demonstration, different from what they've done before. To Infinity's credit, a lot of new stuff in their demonstration as well.
just put together this demonstration all together for the first time on Thursday of this week.
And that is the challenge when you have team members that work in different places. As you mentioned, Affinity, pretty much, a karate school itself in the upper Northwest. But these guys, I mean, I see the models out here, they're in Texas. You probably tell me some other people on these teams that live in all different parts of the country. So
Yes.
how do you manage all that?
Oh yeah, they're from all over the place. So up until this point, it was trusting everybody to learn their individual combinations in Zoom meetings and in FaceTime calls with one another. So the fact that they're able to put all of this together and for it to be presented as is, as we transition to a nunchuck solo from C. Gomez, this kid's capable of some incredible things with the chucks.
He sure has. He sure has. He's electric.
Like that right there. I mean, that double release is just out of this world.
And I tell you, to piggyback off what Jackson was talking about, a student of mine, Riley Claire Carlisle, is a member of Team Competitive Edge, and I can just testify to the work that she puts in outside her regular class time of just coming early, staying late for class, doing those Zoom lessons, and working on combos like you're seeing her up there on stage right now.
Pointing out some of the things that could make the difference. We did just have one of our team members forget a little bit of one of those hand sections. Part of trying to put everything together at the same time. It's not surprising that somebody would forget a little section.
That's right.
But now that's one mistake Competitive Edge, one mistake Infinity. We'll see if that impacts the judge's decision making.
I think another point also to bring up is that these are young people. They're middle school, some cases elementary school, but they're putting in the work with their peers. Probably have no idea the amount of hours of dedication, practice, repractice, focus, getting things right, getting things wrong.
Huge triple release with the sword in the back of the ring from Dax Howland. Now a little synchronized action from Cody and Michael Molina, the brother-sister duo.
Bam.
Nice 360s to the split. Now we're on to a whole new bow section. This kind of circular rotating bow section has always been a staple of Competitive Edge demonstrations. Synch double spins, beautifully done. And from double spins to the double bows, Jackson Hensley, Dax Howland.
Nice.
Beautiful passes back and forth to one another. Now we've got some tricking. All setting up one of the closing combos. Big double fulls from Philip Brumet and Chris Conover. Massive shuriken gunner from Philip Brumet. Now we've got some bow being worked in with the hand combinations. Big closing release. All the bow guys catch it. Synchronized Websters at the end, and that will do it for Team Competitive Edge.
What a great performance right there.
That raised the temperature a little bit more.
It did.
So two fantastic performances on either side. Both of these teams absolutely deserve respect for the performances that they just put out. In my eyes, with both teams being as skilled as they are, it comes down to what's worse, a drop or a forgotten hand combo. And in the eyes of different judges, they're going to have different opinions.
That's exactly right. I tell you, but
I'm thinking about it myself. I really, like personally,
right.
I don't know which bothers me more.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
You know, we talked earlier about proud coaches. I know these guys made you proud tonight, Jackson, but I couldn't help but just see Cole Presley right in front of us, just cheering his crowd on. His team on, and just getting into it, man. It was like he was up on stage with them, man. I know that was a proud moment for him, but it's encouraging just to see coaches be so proud of their students up there.
And the youngest members of Competitive Edge not having much self-control
At all.
They see the 9.98s. Turning around, Michael Molina and Matty Wiersma celebrating a little bit. I will probably tell them to cool it just a little bit after the show.
What, no push-ups?
Maybe 10 push-ups each for that one. But, I mean, hey, they put this together on Thursday.
That's right.
They can be happy, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I know my mom, Kathy Rudolph, who's always been an instrumental part of that demo. She is smiling at home right now. So
no doubt about it.
But hey, for when everybody goes and watches this back, I gotta give a huge shout out. You know, when Reid and Cole and I were all active competitors, we weren't always able to be super involved in the choreography of demo. And so everything kind of solely relied upon really my mom and some people around her helping out to be able to make it happen. But truly, now that Reid, Cole, and I have moved on to different things, Reid and Cole, I know for a fact, have put in a ton of work into this demo as well. So this has been a team effort. Priscilla Molina dedicating her time, one of the moms of the team, the mom of Cody and Michael. You know, she dedicating her time to help out this team demo. So really, unlike ever before, Competitive Edge is a team effort. That they're truly as unified as they've ever been, and that's from the coaches down.
And I'll have to admit, you can definitely see that in their performance tonight. And just just hearing firsthand from Riley Claire and her, we're going to take it over to Anna Glenn.
The Battle of Atlanta against a top competitor. How does it feel?
It feels amazing, you know. Like I got to go against like literally my best friend, you know, B Murph. We've been fighting since we was kids, you know. This is nothing new to us, you know. We just got to keep the ball rolling, you know. It was a great fight. It was a really great fight. And earlier in the day, we fought in the same division, you know, for the first time in a very long time. You know, he got the best of me in the division. He won the overall. You know, congrats to B. And we are still on stage, you know. Like, I want to also give like a shout out to my people who helped me train, you know. Shout out Trey, shout out Jameer, shout out Sensei Troy, Malachi. I know you in there somewhere. I love all of you guys, you know. I couldn't be more happy, you know. And job's not done though, you know. We got one more fight.
What's next for you, Ty?
Sheesh. Well, I got Amerikick. You know, Amerikick is next for me, but also me, Bailey, Kevin, Enrique, D-Hop. You know, we are just trying to push the sport forward. You know, and we got to dominate to do that. You know, so we plan on showing our faces every single time. You know, you are gonna get tired of seeing us. You know, you will get tired of seeing us. You know, so we going hard. You know, we going hard.
Speaking of seeing you, we're gonna see you fight one last time here in just a few minutes. But congratulations on this win. I hope you have a chance to soak it all in. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
And we are moving on to one of my absolute favorite divisions. This one is always one that you guys want to watch. You're going to see some of the sport's top talent as we go into the men's overall grand champion CMX weapons division. First up, we are going to have Esteban Tremblay with Team Paul Mitchell.
Before the commercial break, what an interview from Tyreeke.
Man.
That was awesome.
That gets you fired up.
Absolutely. But now on stage, we have one of the main events of the evening. This is the men's CMX Creative Musical Extreme Weapons Overall Grand Championship. 4 superstars in this division squaring off against one another. The first, Team Paul Mitchell's Esteban Tremblay trying to set the tone. He currently leads the NASKA World Tour and CMX Overall Weapons Grand Championships. He won the Creative Weapons Division, so there won't be any tricking, just tricks of the bow. So we'll see releases, but we're not going to see him doing any inversions in this form.
So much speed from Esteban. Faked us out on the catch behind the head. Oh, and a unique catch on the double spin. This is some new choreography for him.
Well, he knows he's got to bring it. I tell you, you got to always love his swag that he puts in.
Goes back door on the transition.
Outstanding.
It's those subtle things like that if you're not paying attention, you don't understand how unique that is. Fixes his hair while he's going into the release. This is classic Air Canada right now. Double spin, zero gravity, arms fully extended on the final catch. And that will do it for Esteban Tremblay, setting the bar high here in the men's CMX Weapons final.
Awesome job, sir. Next up.
If that's a sign of what's to come,
you got it.
In the words of Tyreeke Synch.
Well, I guarantee you this next competitor is going to try to pick up where Esteban left off.
Oh, you mean this guy?
This guy.
This guy.
Now on stage, the Black Mamba himself, a fan favorite, Rashad Eugene, representing Team Diamond.
How many bows do you count there, Jackson?
It's a double bow form tonight.
It's a double bow?
He won the Extreme Division, which is significant because it means he is forced to do an inversion. He has no choice, which normally wouldn't be a big deal for him, but he is dealing with an ankle injury sustained earlier in the tournament. So keep an eye on that left ankle. He's got a brace on it, a source of adversity for him before the form even starts.
And as you pointed out earlier on the show, you know, Rashad is unpredictable at times. Sometimes he doesn't know what he's going to do. So even though we only see 2 bows, like he could somehow have a third or a fourth pop out here in a minute.
I would not be surprised if that happened.
Okay.
Representing Durham T3, I am Rashad G. Navigate. Us.
See that personality from Rashad coming out right away, as always. Huge X out to get things going. Solid landing using that left ankle. That's a good sign for him. The now decade-old rivalry between single bow and double bow. This is Rashad Eugene's double bow. Beautiful behind the back catch a few techniques ago. Into the full twist, lands it clean. Oh, no!
Man.
Oh, no!
You know what? The show will go on with this.
I mean, that's what you got to love about Rashad is that he's going to keep performing. But, guys, I'm not sure what happened.
It looked like it just slipped out of his hand.
He was just posing, and it just slipped out. I've never seen anything like that. And a good snag from Rashad to finish the form. But I mean, that's just unfortunate. I mean, I almost don't even blame him. Like,
right.
Well, what can you do? Man. Unfortunate to see that happen, but hey, we've still got 2 more killers in this division.
Killers.
True. Yeah, I've always thought that when the person before you goes and drops, and you go take the stage right after that, that drop is still on your mind.
It is. It's got to be.
You just saw it happen to the guy before you.
And by the way, we just saw a double sword from Rashad Eugene. Dawson Holt, this is a new thing for him. Double sword. So he originally debuted this at the AK Warrior Cup.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready yet. It didn't come off the way that he wanted it to. He didn't have the form that he wanted to hit. Ocean State Grand Nationals, however, he goes out there, he nails it, wins the overall Grand Championship. Music he's using, a lot of suspense, reminiscent of a certain other double sword competitor that won a lot of Battle of Atlanta titles in Kalman Choka.
I love it.
It's an interesting grip that he's got. He's holding each sword differently. That's got to play in somewhere soon.
Nice.
clean.
That was.
And one of the things that's so surreal about a form like this is you notice everybody just got real quiet before it starts. And it's about to get loud if he pulls this off. Beautiful 540 to the knee. Behind the head catch. Cleanliness of the cuts, even though every cut is just with one hand. Another behind the head catch. Double box cutters, catches them both. Another variation of the double box cutter. Setting up one of his big release combos, multiple releases all in one. Rolls one sword on the other. Wrist roll, behind the head, into the stab. Around, into the lazy Jane, back of the hand, behind the head again. One more box cutter, and Dawson Holt lands it.
What a great performance.
He nails the double sword form again, and then uses that classic Kalmanchoga signature ending, setting the swords down, standing above them. Woo, man.
Solid right there.
It's one thing to do that double sword performance by itself, but when you also are being watched by Kalmanchoga himself, the double sword master. Let's give it up for Mr. Kalmanchoga.
Shout out Kalmanchoga, legend of the sport. So a fantastic performance there for Dawson Holt. And now our final competitor of the division. Esteban hit, Dawson hit. The third Team Paul Mitchell teammate, Ben the Truth Jones, is going to try to close this thing out. A unique starting position for Ben as well. I love the guitar. There's nothing like Bowen guitar.
Right the opposite of Suspense.
Yep.
Put a little rock flavor in there. A little rock guitar.
Ben won the most recent NASKA overall Grand Championship. 720 catch into the striking combo. Oh, and the behind the head catch out of nowhere.
That's nice.
He's your defending champion from the Quebec Open, and he wants another overall here. The vintage inverted release, Casey Marks Nash style. And some more Casey Nash and Lauren Carney influence with that little wrap around the arm. 2.5 spin catch. And the blind catch on the opposite side of the head. I don't even know what that was. Oh, the freeze frame. Lands it. Both arms behind the back.
Look at Chris Walker over there.
Yeah.
Chris Walker's going insane.
He's fired up, baby.
This is an instant classic between three Paul Mitchell teammates.
When you get a fighting judge jumping out of his seat,
That's right.
you know you did something right.
I mean, jumping out of his seat, slamming the mat over there. I tell you what, man. Tough decision for the judges there.
Yeah, this is going to be intense, just the judging itself.
Ooh, I'm just glad I'm not up there. I'm glad I'm back here.
That's right.
In the judge's chair, that is. I do not want to make this decision. Esteban going in that first slot. This will tell us a lot about how scores are going to fall here.
I see a few 9-7s. I see a 10.
I see a 10.
I thought I saw a 10.
I did.
I
Two
see
10s.
2 10s.
Three 10s for Esteban Tremblay.
Okay.
This might be the first time in the history of sport karate that I've ever seen that score. 10-10-10, 9-8-7-7.
So are these judges that didn't give 10 saving, perhaps throw more 10s? And you got a 10
That's a great
out of
question.
John Sharp.
I mean, that's a fantastic score for Esteban Tremblay,
Yes.
but I'm just
Yes.
to have 10s and 7s in the same set of scores.
That's right.
But
9.95 across the board for Rashad because of the drop.
Correct.
And let's see how the next two scorings go.
Waiting to see what comes up for Dawson.
Yes.
Sounds like 8s and 7s.
Yep.
Okay, so here
I would have anticipated Dawson to steal. Like I was expecting 9s all over the place. Like this,
Yes.
this is a division where typically that's what you would see. This is going to be very interesting.
Do I see all 9s? 7. There's your other 10.
I have no idea how this math is going to work out.
I have no idea.
I mean, the 3 10s is hard to overcome.
Yes.
I mean, that is an insane men's weapons final.
Absolutely.
I have never seen anything like that in terms of the performances followed up by the scoring. That is, there's no other way to say it. That's an instant classic. I have never seen anything like that.
Looks like we got our fighting judges over there saying it's a tie. They're all up in the scoring over there.
Hold on. So you're telling me
this is insane.
You see Justin Ortiz and Abid just checking it out over there, and they're like, okay, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like, what is going on?
This is absolutely insane. Do we have the scores on our computer back here?
And if we could just take a picture of the Jason Warren's face over there, like he's just like, what just happened?
I mean, the President Larry Carnahan is standing up there holding the trophy because nobody knows what's going on. Esteban Tremblay is announced the winner. I mean, with 3 10s, mathematically, I don't know how you overcome that. I'm not looking at all the numbers side by side right now. But, I mean, that is – I'm speechless. Jackson Rudolph is speechless about a men's weapons division.
That doesn't happen very often. I don't have the scores in front of me. But our fighting judges are still doing some quick math.
I know y'all can't see me in the booth, but I'm standing up. I'm standing up. That was absolutely insane. That was. I know the camera's coming my way.
And I tell you, after all that, you gotta love that these men go and shake all those judges' hands,
crazy.
man. Just what a moment.
Yeah, the sportsmanship. I mean, did you guys just watch this division?
I'm still watching the fighting judges who are questioning the scoring, and they still have a job to do.
That's right.
Man. That was – okay, I'm going to sit back down. Woo.
We have one division to go.
Y'all watching at home, y'all don't know what you just witnessed. My Southern is coming out, okay?
And
if I start saying y'all,
I'm rubbing off on you over there. And if y'all haven't subscribed to the Battle of Atlanta YouTube page, please go like and subscribe.
Oh, you better now.
If you think
after
this
that
is good,
division, I mean,
you don't want to miss anything.
Smash that subscribe button.
Absolutely electric, man.
And we've still got another division.
All right, looks like we've got Team Top 10 USA on our right in the right league. We've got Tyreeke, Saint, Enrique, Antonia, and Blake. Blake's been spending a good amount of time at a little school called Upstate Karate. And you may know the head instructor there by the name of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
That name sounds familiar.
You might have heard him a little bit. But on the other side of the coin, you've got all of Team Straight Up. Kevin Walker, Bailey Murphy, and Brandon Malou. Definitely a good squad to go up against. This is going to be interesting right here.
That's right.
It may all come down to this coin toss that they're getting ready to do right now. Joey Greenhall and Bob Liker just standing up there waiting for this coin toss, and they're going to decide who to send out first and who to match up with. It's going to come down to matchups. I can bet money that Bailey probably will be last.
You think Bailey Murphy is going to fight the anchor?
I think so. I don't know. Hey, spoilers alert. But you never know.
The question is, do we get a Bailey Tyreeke rematch? I think that's what everybody wants to see.
I think it's a good chance.
I mean, if you're Coach Liker and you just watched what happened in open weight,
right? How do you not? You know
right.
what I mean? Like,
That's
how do you resist that temptation?
That's right. That's right.
If you put yourself in the position where you're the one making that decision.
Correct.
And if Joe Greenhall's deciding when Bailey goes out, that's a totally different story.
That's right.
It looks like Kevin Walker's going to come out here first, and Blake's going to match up with him.
So as we get ready for the first of 3 matchups, cumulative score is what matters here. 1 point for hand techniques, 2 points for kicks. For the first of these 3 rounds between the teammates, on your left representing straight up in the black, Kevin Walker. In the red, Blake Spence.
Ooh, that's a little bit low.
Oh, that
that kick slid in low.
It's a little bit low.
Little limp, little bounce on the heels.
Right, and there are no warnings here. It's an instant point of war, but that's a very hard way to earn a point.
That is, that's right.
All right, Walker looks like he's able to shake it off. Blake apologizes.
Right back to the action. Spence working that leg, Walker circles. A lot of action so far. Walker is able to check the leg and follow in with the body punch. He scores and is now up 2 after the penalty for the low kick.
That was completely legal, but a very slick move. He caught the leg
That was
coming
slick.
down.
He did.
But Blake going underneath that axe kick and following up with the body punch.
That was a massive axe kick attempt by Walker.
Yes, indeed. Well scouted by Blake to get underneath that and score. You don't want to hang around out there when that thing's coming down.
So far, we've seen a lot of their kicks kind of cancel each other out. There's the hands from Kevin Walker coming over the top to score.
And with great kickers, a lot of times that can't, so you got to go with the hands. And then surprise your opponents with a kick. Both these guys are tremendous kickers. They kick very high, they're very accurate.
Quick back fist comes in, but Blake Spence is able to score.
Quick hand combination.
Another point for
body
Walker.
Punch.
Blitz for Walker.
That
5-2 straight up.
That looks like something he learned from Raymond Daniels. Go, stop, then go. Good side kick. No, not
It's like it was off the elbow. It was close.
Well, we are lined up central, so it looked like it did, but the judges had a better view than we did. 3-point lead for Team Straight Up right now. Blake's going to try to do his best to eliminate that, but it looks like he's giving up another point.
5 seconds to go in this first round.
Spence able to get one back, and Walker frustrated because that was a very important round for Straight Up.
Yes.
They want to send Bailey out with a lead.
Yes,
that's right.
Because Bailey with a lead is one of the most difficult things to overcome in all of sport karate.
So the decision time for Bob right now, who's he send up? Now he sends up Tyreeke Saint to match up with Brandon.
Ooh,
this is the idea to catch up that lead and hopefully, get a lead themselves. So we're going to leave Bailey and Enrique in the last fighters.
So Brandon Ballou on the left in the black for Straight Up. Tyreeke Saint in the red of Top 10 Team USA.
And a kick by
Ballou
Brandon.
lands a 2-point kick.
Good timing on that.
That's huge for Straight Up. They've got a 5-point lead.
So playing a little distance there. Little fake kick trapping Ballou in the corner.
Ballou being very careful to not step out of bounds.
And it looked like he
Coach
did
Bob
step out of
Liker
bounds
was
there.
trying to call it.
It did look like he went out of bounds, but the 3 officials obviously did not see that, or unfortunately did not see that.
Good body punch there by Tyreeke.
Defensive side kick from Ballou's too late that time.
You see right there, that was a fake to get him to run out of bounds. That was great. Tyreeke didn't intend to hit him with that technique, just enough to make him move back, and the result is still the same. A point
Coach
earned.
Joe Greenhall frustrated that that call didn't go their way because of landing out of bounds.
1 minute remaining.
Still a 5-point lead.
Good block from Ballou. That kick could have been a big momentum swing from Saint. He's got to watch that out of bounds line. Saint takes off. Closes the gap to 4.
Make that
another
3
one for Saint.
Yep.
Saint's in the rhythm now.
Trying to cut in
There's
for
a
more.
point and out of bounds. Are they going to score more?
They did call that one out of bounds.
Calling time. Center referee David Boissonette wants to make sure he
They
gets the
said
call
he was
correct.
pushed. The official said he was pushed out of bounds.
Interesting.
Reverse punch, Baloo.
4-point lead again. At that 3.
15 seconds to go in the second round.
Brandon's had a lot of success in that corner, so he's
It's interesting. He kind of walked there.
Yes.
I don't know if that was to bait Tyreeke in or quick back fist, Baloo.
It looks like they've closed it. They closed the gap to 2.
So Bailey Murphy comes out for straight up.
Here we go.
A 3-point lead.
3-point lead.
However, if there's going to be anyone to erase a deficit, number one, it's only a 3-point deficit, but one of the best kickers in the sport, and Enrique Latona, who can land 2-point kicks, that's a good way to erase a deficit if he's able to land it.
So you have a classic matchup here about, on paper, puncher versus a kicker.
Whoa. Bailey's thinking highlight early in the round.
He was.
It was more of the knee coming into Bailey's midsection. Wasn't really a kick.
That's
defensive side kick. That landed.
He got in that time. Cuts it to a 1-point lead.
It's interesting how Bailey is turning that reverse side kick. He's really swinging it around, but he's coming around fast, but he's maintaining his balance so that he could blitz right after that if the opportunity presents itself. Looks like it was a little low shot caught there by Bailey.
And it seems like, at least early in this round, Bailey's trying to use offense as his best defense. He's basically just fighting Enrique the way that he would fight Enrique individually.
Correct.
Oh, it got blocked.
Oh, man.
We didn't have the best angle on it.
But, I mean, Enrique's throwing those kicks out. He's going to let you see that. I thought that was a back
who got it in first? It looks like.
They didn't see the back fist from Bailey Murphy. Enrique scores.
Joe Greenhalgh's about ready to have
Joe
a heart
is ready to
gets
eat
it
some
right
lunch.
back.
He is letting them hear about it.
Oh, indeed. Can you imagine the mic'd up section of Joe Greenhalgh?
Oh, beautiful footwork from Murphy. The hesitation move right into the back fist. Oh, goodness.
Oh, the kick gets in. That's going to tie it up at 13.
And this is what we were talking about. It's Latona's kicks that is making this a possibility for Top 10 USA, and now his hands give him the lead.
And you see he's got to guard his body, which makes it a little bit slow on that punch. And now Latona catches a little shot.
It looked like it was
Time
on
is stopped.
Latona's glove. We need slow-mo, man.
We need
38
some slow-mo.
seconds to go in this match.
Now, granted, even if it was on the glove to that region, it's still going to hurt.
That's right. That's
Not
right. 38 seconds to go in this match.
Did someone say Kimbo? Never mind.
And look how calm Bailey is.
Yes.
38 seconds
he's
left,
thinking of his
down
next move
one.
right now.
Cool as the other side of the pillow.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Stuart Scott.
Yes, sir.
A little footwork there. Latona
Murphy wants to blitz.
He's just keeping him right in front of him, keeping that leg ready to go. Bailey's going to have to make a move.
That was he checked the leg with a practice kick, and it made Enrique go down.
Oh, I thought the kick got in too.
That was a fascinating exchange.
Yes. He's putting the pressure on. He's putting the pressure on. He's got to go. Did he
Murphy scores!
He landed it.
We're going to overtime. Bailey Murphy, ice in his veins, scores at the buzzer.
There are a lot of people standing up here.
This is the
Man,
final
this is the way
clash.
you want it to end right here.
Yes.
This is it. This is exciting.
Teams were given the option to change personnel.
They're sticking with it. I don't blame them.
Oh,
Who was it?
Bailey scores! Body punch, Bailey Murphy!
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Bailey Murphy!
Wow.
What an ending.
Wow.
Body punch for Bailey Murphy. Ends it straight up in overtime.
It doesn't get much better than that, guys.
Yes.
It doesn't get much better than that.
And I'm gonna throw it to Anna Glenn for an interview with the winning team.
Can we get one last round of applause for Team Straight Up? All right, I don't know who wants to answer this, but my first question I have to ask, how do you guys like these new mats that were donated to Battle by Fighters Inc.?
Oh, these are awesome. These are the best mats in the world.
Awesome mats, awesome mats. That's it, that's all I gotta say.
What does winning this fight tonight mean to your team?
It means a lot. You know, I don't know if a lot of people know, but last year we ended up losing the top 10 USA. So to be here a year later and be able to get that win back, it means a lot for our team. And I'm just super happy to have this squad because I think we're the best in the world.
Talk to me about the guys beside you. How do you keep each other motivated?
These guys are family, man. We push each other, we train together, and we push each other to be the best we can.
Congratulations on a much-deserved win. Perfect way to end the night. One last time for Team Straight Up.
Let's give it up for Team Straight Up one last time. All right, as we come to an end, I want to first start off by thanking the camera crew for making all this happening, so all of you guys at home and here have a fantastic view. I want to thank the production team for making it look absolutely fantastic. I want to thank the promoters, the competitors, and everybody else that came to support this event. And then I also want to thank Miss Anna Glenn for doing a fantastic job with the interviews. Let's go ahead and have Mr. Jackson Rudolph come to the stage for doing an awesome job in the broadcasting commentary. For having Mr. Mallory Woods come up to the stage. Mr. Josh Buford coming up to the stage. And let's give it up for Anna Glenn one last time as well. And then I'm your host, Reid Presley. We had a fantastic night with you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and we'll see you next year.